Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Also, we're still rolling to Sierra Leone. We leave next Friday, y'all. It's already here. We leave on the 19th. Who's this calling me? Turn that off. We leave on the 19th. Come and join us. We still got a couple slots, So if you're interested in joining, you need to hit me up like right now. Go to dynastymirror.com, send me a message. Also, citizenship opportunities are available to those who qualify. Without further ado, we got a special guest on with us today. And me and this brother went to the same high school. He graduated before me though, but we ran summer track together. And I still owe him a beatdown because when we was in Eugene, Oregon, what are the little beats? He came into my house. He put me the headlock, and then put me to him and Carl Brent. That's right, y'all jumped me in my hotel room. So I still owe y'all. So payback. We went to Eugene, Oregon. I remember that. And the night before my meet, I busted my toe because of these two. And I got cussed out. Yeah, I busted my toe. I still ran. But I busted my toe.
Coach Silver got mad.
Coach Silver cussed me out. Yeah. Hey, is Coach Silver still alive?
I don't know, man. I've been asking about him. Nobody knows.
You still keep in contact with Coach? You remember Coach Wright?
I don't remember Coach Wright.
He used to always be around. Like he was always around. I know he would know, but I don't have his phone number.
I'm gonna ask Jim. Remember Jim McGee?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You still talk to Jim?
Yeah.
You still talk to Jim?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him.
What's Malachi up to? I remember Malachi.
I haven't seen him.
What about like Tony Bray?
I haven't seen him. The only person I know of remember Steve? You had a long tail, went to Valley.
Yeah, I remember Steve.
Yeah. And then remember Jontel? Somebody mentioned Jontel. And she got some kids.
Girl went to Valley?
Yeah.
Was that the one that drove the Jeep? They used to come Jeep.
I don't know. I think she used to. I don't know. But I asked about these folks, and folks say they still around. Either married with kids, or
Yeah, we old. Lavelle, I'm almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
Lavelle, we old.
Yeah, I'm 43. Yeah.
That was 97. We ran summer track together.
Yeah, these folks look a lot different now. You know that, right? They look a lot. They're like whole different people now.
Yeah.
You still in shape, so you.
Yeah. I still take care of myself. Yeah, I took care of myself.
I'm still in shape. Some of these people will be like.
Yeah, they ate real after high school. They didn't run in college. They ate real good.
Yeah, and even after college, they still ate good.
Yeah. Yeah. But brother, we got the brother. He is Blanchard on with us today, and we're just gonna chop it up about Atlanta politics, the Braves. Y'all HBCU money's going to illegal aliens. They're getting reparations. So they cut y'all HBCU money, and now they get $450,000.
You know what? I told somebody. I said, if a person tells me they don't vote, I get it, right? I get it. Mm-hmm. But if a person tells me they vote Democrat, I can't wrap my mind around anybody voting Democratic. I mean, I'd rather you just not vote at all than vote, because Democrats like voting Democrats like the kindergarten of politics. Like, you shouldn't, like, that's just basic. The Democrat policies are absolutely insane. And we still line up in the droves, 90%. Even in Virginia, when the lady won lieutenant governor, even there, we still 90% voting Democrat still. People call her white supremacist.
Yeah, she a white supremacist because
y'all are out of control, man.
Yeah, so y'all HBCU money got cut. And illegal aliens about to give $450,000 a pop.
A person.
And I think it's up to $1 million per family.
You know how crazy this is, man. Hold up. You know what we're talking about. Y'all listen, and they promised me, they told me that when Biden was president, everything was gonna be better. This is what they told me. This is what they assured me. They said once Trump was gone, we had nothing to worry about.
$450,000. Do you know, like, so already they're coming to America. Like, you know how much, you know what you could do with $450,000?
Your whole life change. It's over.
Yeah.
If you got any kind of sense, 450 is over. You shouldn't have to look back. You know, but again, though, we get caught up in identity politics, feel good politics. You know, they say a lot of stuff to us, and it just sounds good to say. But we won't ever read the fine print. You know, we are not politically savvy. Think about it, they sold us last year on just getting rid of Trump.
Right.
All they said was we got to get rid of Trump. They wasn't offering nothing.
Right.
And we took it. So, you know, that cost Keisha Lance Bottoms, she done from all that foolishness, letting these folks just tear the city up.
Yeah.
Police officers, 400. My boy told me 400 some cops done quit or left Atlanta.
Wow. Wow. So they were saying that so we'll talk about the Braves real quick. So I guess Keisha Lance Bottoms showed up to the parade or whatever and got booed. And they were saying it was racist. And I was like, well, hold on. So back when the governor, I guess, passed his voting law, Keisha Lance Bottoms supported boycotting the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, which is supposed to be held here in Atlanta.
Yes.
The number of black vendors that lost business that weekend. I mean, we don't want to talk about that. We want to ignore that over a voting law, because I guess black people don't know how to go get their ID. Am I wrong? Is that?
Well, we've had the right to vote since the 1800s. So I don't understand what this whole voting thing is about. I don't know anybody personally that wanted to vote and couldn't vote. I just don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that said, I want to vote today and was denied the right to vote. I don't know anybody.
Right.
I've been able to walk in and vote with no problem. It's just insane to me. But she was right to get booed, because imagine if we'd had the All-Star game and we won the World Series. Like, from a fan's perspective, it's like your dream to have the All-Star game here and win the World Series. So yeah, she should have got booed. And of course, they're gonna say it's racist, because anytime a white person doesn't like somebody that's melanated, it's a problem. So it's always racism. It's ridiculous, but you know, crime is up 200%. We're not talking about
they don't want, you know. Okay, so listen, I was debating with somebody about the other day. You know what his response was?
What?
Crime is up everywhere, and I'm just like, what's that got to do with Atlanta? So just because crime is up everywhere, like it's okay for crime. Keisha Lance Bottoms gets a pass here in Atlanta because crime is up everywhere.
Yeah, but there's a reason why crime is up. Y'all spent a whole year of telling the police it was their fault. And then you destroy businesses. You know, the studies last year said that 43% of the businesses that were destroyed were our businesses. I'm like, y'all are insane. Like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But she gets booed at an All-Star game and it's racism. I'm like, this is out of control. Like, the city, Atlanta was a place, it used to be the Black Mecca, right?
Used to be. And we could talk about that, because some people still claim it is. And I said it's not the Black Mecca, but I got, yelled at.
Not anymore.
Okay, what happened? You said not anymore. What was the shift? When did you know the shift? And you've been here a while too.
I think I noticed the shift. Maybe I'll be honest, like with the club scene, I noticed that you used to go to the club and party, right?
Oh yeah.
And then one day I went to the club and it was just all VIP sections. It was
for real though, like Compound. I think Compound when they have something is all VIP sections.
Yeah, like it was a Compound that everybody started doing it. So now it's just like when you went out now, you were just going out to basically stunt. You just go out and buy a section, and it's just I don't know. So then I saw a shift in just the culture of Atlanta. This used to be a real fun city, man. Just a real laid back, fun city. And I just think the influence, I think the more woke America got, it cost Atlanta. So when they started saying stuff like Stacey Abrams saved the country, I'm like, look, and I asked people, I said, how did Stacey Abrams save the country? Articulate to me what she did to save the country. Did she text me 40 times a day? Did she call me 20 times a day? Did she stuff my mailbox with ballots? That's really what happened. Like, how did she save it?
All right.
But I know it's a shift in Atlanta culture, though. It just seemed like it was just a lot more influx of folks coming here, and it just changed the culture of the city. So now Atlanta culture, the actual Atlanta's culture is gone.
Right.
But
did Atlanta ever really have a culture?
Atlanta had a culture. They did. They had a culture. It was. Okay. I'm not saying it was great, but it was. It was their culture. Right. But now, it's music industry took off here. That kind of changed a lot of things as well. This became Black Hollywood. The movie industry came. Like a lot of things happened to kind of change Atlanta from a Black Mecca to Black Hollywood or the Black Mecca of music, entertainment. So yeah. But Atlanta's changed a lot though.
All right, let's stick on the Braves. So the argument is when the Braves left Turner Field here in Atlanta, it was because of racism. And I disagree because Summer Hill, the neighborhood around the stadium, was the hood. It was a trap. It wasn't safe. No one was hanging out in Summer Hill after no baseball game because you didn't want to lose your life. So they couldn't come. They couldn't come to a proper agreement to fix Summer Hill with the Braves. So the Braves dipped and went to the Battery, which you've been to the Battery before, have you?
Yeah.
It's nice. It's all like it's dope. Like that is dope.
I live right down the street from the Battery. I can walk to the Battery, right? Like so, yeah. It's awesome. But if I recall, the mayor at that time was Kasim Reed, right?
Right, Kasim Reed.
So why did he stop it? I didn't hear him saying, "Let's."
You know what he did? So like, I guess they didn't come to agreement. Then the Braves was like, "Look, we out," and Kasim was like, "I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I did. He played stupid."
Yeah, of course. No, you got a kickback from. Hold up, you got some money. Why we acting brand new? You think? Hold up, you think the Braves gonna leave and Kasim Reed don't get nothing out of the deal? Come on, why we acting? Come on, man, come on.
And it was crazy now. So the same people that was crying out as racist that the Braves left. So Georgia State comes in. They own all of that. It gets renovated, fixed up, rehab. It's somewhat walkable now. You got restaurants and stuff now. Mm-hmm. Now folks are crying gentrification.
Come on, you can't have it both ways. Come on now.
Yeah, man. Actually, they cry gentrification.
Hold on, man. Come on.
Yeah, they crying gentrification now.
Come on, man. Come on. We can't have Listen, we've been in charge of that community for probably 70, 80 years, right? Summer Hill, People's Town, all that. We've been in charge, right? So you mean to tell me in 80 years we couldn't come to no kind of agreement with each other to keep the community thriving? Like I don't get it.
Right.
Like you can't gentrify some of the people and let the community just go by the wayside. Just like where you stay at, right? Right. That was all of us at one point. What happened?
All of us. Yeah, black flight. Then it became the trap. White folks moved in. Now they crying gentrification.
Come on, man. We can't. This is a 70-year process. It's not overnight. This is 70 years.
Right. So that's what happened where I live here in Atlanta. White flight, Black flight, the trap, white folks came back. Now gentrification.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When we leave these areas, when it gets gentrified and we leave, what becomes of the communities that we go to? When we leave these areas and we go to an area and we saturate it, do the communities, are they thriving? Are we uplifting the community? Because I can tell you what happens. I can tell you what happened when all of us left Atlanta and went to Clayton County. I can tell you what happened when we moved to the east side. Go look at Covington. Go look at. I can tell you what happens when we leave these areas that are so prosperous with us. When we leave and go somewhere else, what happens to the area that we go to? Why isn't it thriving? Why does the crime rate shoot up? Why does the homicide rate shoot up? Why did the gang activity shoot up? Why does all stuff happen when we go to an area?
Right.
Gentrification.
Why does it happen?
It happens because we have a culture that we don't want to acknowledge. The issue is Black culture. It's not Black people per se, it's Black culture. Black culture says if you shoot somebody, even if you shot the wrong person, don't snitch. That's Black culture.
And you get you a TV show on Stars, a whole series about how you was selling dope and shooting the wrong people.
Black culture says we get to idolize folks that destroyed our community. That's Black culture. You know, Black culture says you don't have to do good in school. You don't have to get good grades. You don't have to graduate. Black culture says you could stay, keep it hood.
Right.
Black culture says ratchet in class. This is Black culture. So the problem is we have we've created a culture.
What do we do as far as? But let me say this, LaBelle. I'm starting to sense a shift, a little bit, like a little shift. Like, so I'm starting to notice more people online starting to agree with me openly.
Openly?
I'm starting to notice more people to agree with me openly online versus a couple years back. I'm starting to notice a shift. I think a lot of people, in fact, hold on. Let me read this message to you real quick. Guys, hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Also share, also subscribe. Go to dynastymedia.com. Let me read this message that I got, this inbox. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on. Somebody sent this to me. I'm not gonna mention the person's name.
Okay.
Let me find it. Hold on. Where you at? Hold on, hold on, guys. Sorry about that, but I gotta read this. I got this the other day. Here we go.
Normally I get told I'm right in private. I don't get told I'm right in public.
Let me read this. Hey, Dynast, how are you? May I call and ask you about your politics? Your views are very interesting to me, and I'm coming across more and more educated and non-college educated Black men who are conservatives. 15 minutes of your time.
Wow.
I'm telling you, listen, more and more openly starting to agree and not worry about what people say. I think people are starting to wake up. I mean, you got to think about it. Have you seen Simone Sanders?
Mm-mm.
Where is she? You know Simone Sanders is, right?
No. Who?
That was the hold on, let me pull a picture up of her. Have you seen Angela Rye?
I know her. I haven't seen her.
Uh-huh. Have you seen Stacey Abrams?
No, I haven't seen her. No.
Have you seen Kamala Harris?
No, I haven't seen her.
So they literally came to the community, got the votes, and did.
Yes.
Have you seen the leaders from Black Lives Matter?
I mean, I've seen them having a good time. I've seen them out in clubs. I seen them chill. I seen them balling. I haven't seen them in the community though.
Right.
What was her name? Simone what?
Sanders. Simone Sanders. When you see a picture of her, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, she's a little correspondent. Yeah.
They've all disappeared.
I haven't seen her either.
They've all disappeared. All of them. Every single one of them. They've all disappeared.
Corey Rush.
Corey who?
Is it Corey Bush? Corey Rush?
Corey Booker.
No, the female.
I don't know who that is. Have you seen Van Jones got $100 million from Bezos' wife, I believe. He disappeared.
Yeah, Corey Bush.
Uh-huh.
USA representative. Yeah, Van Jones got $100 billion from Bezos. He was crying on TV again, and he got that. And we ain't seen him either. Yeah, they all got the vote and dipped. Yeah, I'm trying to think who's been visible.
Somebody put in the chat room, Kamala Harris's popularity drops to historic low for U.S. vice president.
It's racism. It's racist. You know what's funny though? I tell people it's actually hard to argue systemic racism when we've had a black president and a black vice president. Like, it's kind of hard to argue. Like, anywhere else in the world, it doesn't happen. Like, you go to India, if you're in that bottom caste, you're not going to ever be president. You're not going to ever be like, if you're in India has a true oppressive caste system in place. Meaning, if you're born in that caste system, no matter what you do, you're not moving up. Whether you're smart, don't matter. But over in America, we can be so oppressed that I can come from the streets and make it to the top.
Right. And here's another one. Your boy Colin Kaepernick, if you're in the NFL and you're making millions of dollars, you are a slave.
And I did a video about that, and people was asking, I agree with him. I said, what do you agree with?
You're a slave. You make $1 million playing the sport you love, and you are a slave.
But hold on. Let's just say what he's saying is true. Why would he be training to be a slave? That man said, he said he trains 6 days a week in hopes he can lead a team to the Super Bowl. So that means he's volunteering to be the best slave on the plantation. Can you imagine that? Hold on, you got a plantation and you got to try out to be a slave. Go through all kind of drills. Who can pick the cotton? Who can pick the cotton? Who can bale the hay the fastest? No, come on. I'm like, Colin Kaepernick's so fake, man. He got the whole little 19 look
afro with a black jacket.
Come on, man. It's a whole new Halloween costume. Come on, man. That man said I train 6 days a week. Think about this. He said I train 6 days a week in hopes to get back into the NFL. And nobody see anything wrong with that. It's crazy. Not to mention, he got a Nike deal. Not to mention, he has his own ice cream. Not to mention, he had a documentary on Netflix. Like, how is this oppression? A Nike deal, NFL contract, an ice cream, and a Netflix deal. How are you oppressed? Please tell me. That man got an ice cream. He has an ice cream. Could you, dog, ice cream?
But again, the NFL combine, they weigh you, they poke you, they take your body fat. It's like
and you know what's funny though? He said he pulled his little notebook out. Like, why did he pull that notebook? Like, he pulled his little. I'm like, for what? There's no note. It's a blank sheet of paper. Hey, but Dynasty, check this out though. So when the white players go to the NFL, they get treated differently. They don't get measured The white players don't get poked and prodded. Like, what happened to the white players? He just showed all, but there are white players in the NFL as well. The NFL is 30% white. It's crazy.
Oh man, guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. We're also going to open up the lines here in about 5 minutes. And if y'all don't know, me and this brother, we from the same hometown, Sacramento.
Yeah.
California. Same hometown, y'all. So hit that like button. Okay, somebody made a statement in the chat room. Do you think Kamala is going to be president before their term is up? You think something's going to happen to Biden? She's going to become president?
Yeah, I do. I think Kamala will be president for an interim, but I think this thing is going to really collapse. I think eventually Obama's going to come back into power.
You said who?
Obama.
Not Michelle. Expand on that.
Because in order to be president, you got to be part of the bloodline. So you got to have some kind of bloodline in there to be a part of it. So Michelle won't be able to do it. But I think that Kamala will be there in the interim, and then something will happen. They can't have an election. This and all, and then they'll just slide Barack back in there. That's my theory. I don't think anybody wants Kamala to be president. I don't think anybody.
Well, that was proven back during the Democratic thing. She dropped out.
Yeah, it lasted like, I think she had the fastest time. It lasted like, I don't know, 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Like she was done fast. Like nobody likes her because everybody knows she's fake. We don't, because she threw up the AKA ski weed stuff and went to Howard. We don't know.
Hold on. She played the black card. She went to HBCU card. Black Greek card. I listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac. I listened to Tupac. Was it Tupac? She said
it was Tupac and Biggie.
And Biggie in 80, what?
in 88, right?
In 88 hard. She smoked some weed.
She said her mom asked her what she wanted. She was in the crib. And she said freedom. Remember that? She had all kind of little stories. And I try to tell my people, have you ever heard her say that she was African American? No. Have you ever heard her say she was black? She grew up in the highest class. She's a Brahmin Indian. That is the highest caste in India. Her family is very privileged. She did not grow up like us over here. She didn't. She went to high school in Montreal. Listen, man, she did not grow up. Come on.
I'm still tripping off what you said, Colin Kaepernick. So he said football is an example of slavery, and he's training 6 days a week to become a slave.
No. Not just become a slave, to become one of the best slaves, because he wants to win the Master of Super Bowl. He literally said, I train 6 days a week now in hopes of leading a team to the Super Bowl. This is what he said. So he wants to be the best slave.
Let's see here. Baruti Katimbo Dinas, please ask Blanchard what he thinks HBCUs need to do collectively to be empowered financially and in other ways. Do they need to engage with Africa as a refocus?
Well, first of all, these HBCUs are owned by the federal government. So there's nothing they can do unless they become totally independent and lose all their money, lose all the federal funding. The problem with HBCUs are their funding is lumped in together with what you call minority institutions and tribal institutions and Hispanic institutions. So when you see the term HBCU funding, they're not actually talking about HBCU. They're talking about universities that have a certain percentage of people of color, Hispanics and other races, Jews maybe, in the school. So they share. So the funding they get, they probably get the least amount of the funding because only 13% of the colleges they get the funding. So they have to break away completely from the federal government and become independent, and then rely on endowments. I don't know how that's going to work, but they don't control their funding. That's the problem. So linking up with Africa, I mean, it could work, but it would be going through the federal government though. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. And they're on a decline anyway, so they'll pretty much probably be done in about 20 years.
You think so?
Yeah. Because you got to think, there are 800 institutions in America that are considered HBCUs.
800? Is that many?
But hear me out. There's only actually 107 HBCUs. But under the umbrella of it, there's 800. So when it comes time to do funding, there could be a school like, let's say my school, Arizona State, right? Arizona State qualifies for HBCU funding. That sounds crazy. How, right? Because of their Hispanic population in the school.
Oh.
So that's how the black colleges aren't getting the funding. So we're competing for funding with all of the other universities. So if a university, let's say University of Nebraska, if they had 24% of Native American or Hispanic population, they're eligible for the funding.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
So when you hear these numbers being thrown out, these numbers don't actually reflect how much money the actual HBCU gets. What the actual HBCU gets is a lot less than what they're saying the funding is.
Guys, click the link in the chat room. If you want to call in, there is the link is in the chat room. Call in and you can add to the conversation. Again, link is in the chat room. Click on that link, call in, and you can add to the conversation. Infrastructure bill. Thoughts on it. And let me focus on one part, the crypto part. So you have black folks now who are experts at Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. They are the experts. A lot of these folks voted Democrat. Now, and listen, I heard black folks say, I would rather be taxed higher than re-elect Trump. And guess what? Biden heard you. Biden heard you.
He said, I'll raise you.
He said, I got you. He said, I got you. I got you.
I got you. Hey, look, he said, say less. I got you. But I said, I can say less. I got you. Hold up. But listen, hold up. It's amazing to me, though, that we actually don't really care about politics, right? We don't really care about politics, but we care about money. It's just funny that we would actually go against the money to get Biden and Harris in office. I mean, $450,000 for some folks that are coming over here illegally. Think about that. They're actually breaking the law and they're getting rewarded.
No, but hold on. No. But see, it's our fault because we destabilized their countries. It's our fault because we destabilized their countries, forcing them to come up here illegally.
Okay,
hold on. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm thinking about like sneaking across the border. They try to come back in illegally. You got me. Take me in. You got me. Take me in.
You got me.
Take me in. See if I get.
Yeah, where you from? I'm like Colombia. I'm from El Salvador, Panama. Listen.
All right, so infrastructure. So okay, the crypto part. So now in the infrastructure bill, I think starting 2023, if you make a transaction on any of these crypto platforms over $10,000 or more, they're going to report it and you're going to be taxed on
it. Yeah. But that's in combination with them knowing how much money you make above $600.
On Cash App.
Yeah. So basically, the government knows everything about your finances.
All right. And this is what we voted. Not we, but this is what they voted for.
Well, yeah, they voted for it, and a lot of them are silent too, though. A lot of them.
That's another thing. A lot of them are silent. Why do you think they're silent? Is it voters' remorse or what is it? What do you think?
It's not remorse. They just don't have an argument anymore.
All right.
Like they can't really say the country's better. They can't say that argument. They can't say Joe Biden ain't racist. I mean, they can't. Like they don't have any arguments to say. Like what are they gonna say? Joe Biden literally said, "If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black." And I thought he lost right there. That's what I thought. But then when I talked to my people, they was like, "He right. You ain't black." I was like, "Goodness." I said, "Y'all agree with him?" Yeah. That infrastructure bill is going to totally destroy America. They're going to make America a third world country. They're going to make it communist.
Is there like what's the reason behind this? There's something sinister going on.
Yeah,
you know, you got the vacay. You can't say the full word, but the vacation.
Yeah.
The vacation.
Yeah,
the vacation. Yeah, the vacation. You got that going on. Yeah. Okay, somebody says he is Blanchard is wrong about there being 800 HBCUs. There are 107 HBCUs pre-1965. Black schools. Arizona State University is an Hispanic serving institution. HBCU does not equal HSI.
Did you hear what I said? I'll repeat what I said. When it comes to the funding is for HBCUs, HISs, MISs, and tribal institutions. So that means they lump the funding for all four of those categories. So out of the 800 institutions, only 13% of them are HBCUs at 107. So when it comes to the funding majority does not go to HBCUs. It goes to the other 600 and some institutions. Does that make sense? So they use the term HBCU as a blanket term, funding for HBCUs. What they really mean is we're funding HBCUs and these other universities, Hispanic institutions, minority institutions, tribal institutions. I never said that they were HBCUs. I said the language when they write these bills and contracts up, the language shows that HBCUs in a group of other institutions, and it's 800 in total. I'm dropping a video on that tomorrow.
Guys, link is in the chat room again. Link is in the chat room. But hold on. But remember that this wasn't going to affect us because AOC said we're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the rich. Remember? So this wasn't going to.
Okay. Anybody with half a brain knows this. People that are rich have usually mastered the taxation game. You're not going to be able to tax the rich. They know how to work around taxes. So if you can't really tax the rich, who's next in line? The working middle class. So the whole tax rich thing is just a virtue signal. It's BS. They ain't finna tax no rich. Rich folks will move. They'll move their companies. They'll switch states. They are not finna pay them taxes. You see what happened in California and New York? All the folks they're losing billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars a year in revenue. People are leaving the state. They're not finna pay taxes. It's a virtue signal. But the problem with our people is I clearly said what the HBCUs were. And then people are gonna say, oh, he's wrong. And that's the problem with our people is we're just trying to prove somebody wrong instead of looking at what's going on. What's going on is the HBCUs are declining in enrollment. What does that mean? That means they'll get even less funding. They're declining in enrollment. That means they'll get less funding and more schools will get shut down. What does that mean? I just told you in 20 years, they probably won't even be around anymore. 20 to 30 years.
Tell me. So as far as you brought up, so I brought up the infrastructure bill, and you said this is going to cripple America. Is this being done deliberately? Like what's behind it? Like what's really behind it?
Because what they're pushing for, and I tell people, Joe Biden is a globalist. Kamala Harris is a globalist. These people like Nancy Pelosi, all these folks you see on TV, the Van Joneses, they're all globalists. So the goal is to make America a part of the one world government. So all the propaganda surrounding this stuff right now is for them to get rid of people's guns. They use this this pandemic to take away your rights. Then the next phase is going to be removing the guns. As you see right now, everything they're doing is following a communist manifesto. Everything. So they need for America to get out the way to have a one world government. The problem is folks here have guns. That's the main issue. It all boils down to gun ownership. So you got a bunch of folks here that ain't gonna have it. Right. They're gonna fight. Now in Australia, what's happening in Australia right now? Eastern Australia is on lockdown, taking people's houses. People can't leave their homes. Like they have camps. They have camps. They have camps, right? Okay. So Australia is letting you know what's to come for the rest of the world. So, but guess what? They gave their guns up. Canada, same thing. They gave their guns up. Like, this is what happens when you give your guns up. Look at any country that gave their guns up and the government turned around and implemented communism.
All right. All right, we got a couple callers. Let's see. Okay. We'll start with the Yacht Man. Yacht Man, go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing? Great to be on the show. Blanch, man. Yeah, I think I just wanted to ask a few questions because I'm African born. I moved here about 20 years ago. And like I tell my Black family in America here that they're surprised when I say this, but I say most Africans are actually conservatives.
Of course.
The only reason why we pretend to be Democrats is because of immigration. If not for that, you will see the full blown Africans. So I'm like, that we don't believe you. I'm like, trust me. Let him finish college and start making money. Then most Africans will vote Republican. They won't tell you. But the question is, I wanted to ask you is, how can you change the mindset of the average Black individual? Because to me, no. Let me because.
But yeah, man, what's going on? Like, so the I would say the Democratic Party has replaced the Black church. Like it's out of control. Like it's just.
You're right.
Like, what I witnessed this past election, as far as the shaming tactics, you know, the lack of accountability that's going on right now. I mean, literally, you had a guy named rapper Ice Cube. He said, "Look, I want to sit down. Well, listen, I mean, seriously, I want to sit down with the Democratic Party. I got this plan for the Black community. Let me talk to him." You want to know what Black people did to Ice Cube? They were ready to cancel Ice Cube just for wanting to sit down and say, you know what? I'm not going to give them my vote until, you know, we talk tangibles.
Yeah, but
what they're doing, and I don't want to, you know, I'm going to get some people upset. They're sending the Black women to attack men like Ice Cube.
Yes.
Some, you know, Simone Sanders, Joy Reid, you know, that's what they're doing. You know, all the crew on Fox News, Soul, whatever the hell it's called. They send them to attack the Black men who want to speak up and say, look, let's talk business, let's talk tangibles. That's what literally the Black community came out and forced, shut up, Ice Cube. Well, hold on. I just want to just go over this plan, see what we can get for our vote. No.
But hold on, but the irony of that is Ice Cube sat down with Trump's team and got $500 billion. Like it's not like he went and didn't get nothing. He got $500 billion, and all we can call him was a sellout. Like I don't.
Because it speaks to the larger point of, as a Black man, you're not allowed to have an opinion. You should be lucky. You should be lucky. We even giving you the little you have. Shut the fuck up, and you should be happy that we're giving you this token. And if you speak too much, we'll use your woman against you.
Yeah.
And my question is, how do you break people? Because for me, I think economic freedom is the best way to break free of that slavery. Because you cannot break, like for me, instance, now, once I started making six figures, and the next thing I know is I'm hiring people now. So I can see. I'm like, oh, I get it now. You see what I'm saying? Until you start making that money and start hiring people, it's hard for you to see. Because now, if I hear any Democrat tell me, "Oh, higher taxes, tax them more," I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm paying people's salaries here.
Yeah.
So until you break free of that, but it's hard for me to reach people because when you speak in business terms, you don't make sense to most people. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about hiring people?" They don't understand it. So how can you break people loose from that captivity?
Well, I have one suggestion that we have to actually sit out an election cycle. We actually have to just sit it out. We have to say we're not voting for these reasons and not vote, like, and let it be known. That's the only way to even shake any of this stuff up. It's the only way. Because like Dinah said, the Democratic Party is the black church. So if you go to the average black church, they're Democrats. The pastors, Democrats, usher board, everybody's Democrats in the church. So it literally is a mirror of politics now in the black church. It's all woke. It's all, so we would have to literally sit out this next presidency. None of us vote. That way.
Okay. Let me just piggyback on that question for you, sir. The reason I asked that because what you're saying is in the mode of "I told you so." Like, okay, you're gonna suffer before you enjoy it, but I don't want it to get to the point where "I told you so." Like, because it's gonna be a lot of suffering before they get the memo. Because what you're doing is like if you don't listen, suffer this bullshit first, then you learn your lesson, like, then you come back to where you're supposed to be. But I'm like, how do we get them before they get to the "I told you so" part?
Well, I'm saying this. If we intentionally sit out an election cycle, then all pandemonium breaks loose. So just imagine, what are the talking points now? If we say we're not voting, what are the talking points? Okay, why are they voting? What's the reason? Now we can put stuff on the table. Now we can actually say this is what we want. But until then, we can't. See, the problem is we're not making any demands. So either we're going to break away from politics completely and do stuff like we used to back in the day, or we're going to force them to do what we want them to do. But it's going to take something drastic to happen. But just
Blanch,
us talk.
Let me break it down. Remember this last election in Virginia, right? The last one we had in Virginia?
Yeah.
I have noticed one thing about so-called black issues. Nobody ever blames Hispanic or gay Democrat for losing it, and like somebody losing, like let's say they lose a vote or they lose an election.
Yeah.
They never say, "Oh, the reason we lost is because people didn't like the gay part of your program." But it seems to me that anything that is black that we push is seen as toxic. Like, okay, reparations, for instance. Oh, the reason we lost is because you were pushing that reparation bill. They come down on black people, I suppose. Like our issue is so toxic, we can't win on it as Democrat. Like, we're sorry, but we cannot run on black issues.
But yeah, I mean, you know, the irony behind that is Donald Trump came to Atlanta. Now, the Republican Party is supposed to be the party of the KKK and
right.
the Ku Klux Klan. Donald Trump came to Atlanta, came to the black community on live TV and said, "Look, I got $500 billion for you guys. What you want to do?"
Yeah.
TV,
no.
TV,
you would think
I got $500 billion. What's up? What you got?
Dinah, fuck racism. I'm like $500 billion. I wouldn't give a fuck if it's racist. That is fucking $500 billion. That's been the answer. I don't give a fuck if it's white or racist. That is fucking $500 billion. That should have been the only answer.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, but then the argument was, well, you know, he lying, he pandering, he ain't gonna do it. Okay, but like Trump said, what do you got to lose? What is Biden and Kamala gonna offer you guys? Nothing.
And I ask anybody, just from a business standpoint, who from our community went to go meet with Donald Trump and left empty-handed? When Van Jones met with him, Van Jones got what he wanted. Everybody that met, when the pastors went, everybody that met with Donald Trump, nobody left empty-handed. I talked to Ray Lewis, and he told me when he went in there with Jim Brown, he said Trump didn't even look at the paperwork. Trump said, how much do you need? He didn't even look at it. He said, how much you need? So we're talking about him being racist. You can say whatever you want to say about it, but I know every time somebody went to go meet with him, he cut the check. So I don't know, man.
So like Diners, you said the Democrat is the new church now.
It's the church. It's the church. The Democratic Party is a place to black church.
Okay, so why do black people continue to fall over and over? Because to me, I don't get it. I get frustrated sometimes. Why do they continue to? Because you see the example over and over and over, and you keep doing the same fucking thing every time.
I blame black culture on that one, because black culture says you can see the same thing over and over again and still do it. Like you just the Democrat voting Democratic is a part of black culture. It is. Right. So all this stuff is intertwined into who we are, our identity. So Trump is racist, but Trump didn't say anything racist. Biden actually said racist stuff throughout his whole career, and we still voted for him. So I mean, I don't know how it changes. I honestly don't know.
So because even the ones like let me just say one more thing before I go, because the reason I say that even the ones that break loose from that part, that mindset, even when they make money, they never speak up. They be like, oh man, I'm still a Democrat, but one-on-one they're like, man, fuck that shit, man. But in public they will still become Democrat, but they're like, nigga, I'm making money now. Fuck that Democratic shit. But they will never say it in public. But in private, like, man, fuck this shit.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you an example. You can go anywhere and be a Democrat with no questions asked. You can go in any place, say I vote Democrat, nobody say anything. You go somewhere and say you vote Republican, people have a problem with it. So it's more
no. Push it first. Say you voted for Trump as a black guy.
Oh, if you say Trump, it's a wrap. You forget it. Right. You forget it.
Oh man. All right, man. I just want to check in. By the way, I'm a Trump supporter. Me and my dad in the family.
I vote for Trump. So
there's two of us, man. And every time I get phone calls, see your boy now, see what he did this time. Like, I don't give a fuck what he did. I'm making money. Stock market good for me. I don't give a damn. All right, guys.
All right.
We got two more callers. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Black Critique, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you. I like the platform. I love what you're doing on trying to raise awareness politically, because I feel a lot of black people don't really understand what's going on politically, and you are absolutely right. We vote on emotion, and it's like a celebrity contest. I've been saying this since Obama. It's like, oh, look what he did. He could do this. He could do that. He could do this. He could do that. It's like, okay, what is he gonna do for you? And then people start getting emotional when it's politics. Politics is business. Business is politics. Basically, where I disagree with you guys, or where I think reason why black people are voting Democrat instead of Republican is for the same reason that Dinus has mentioned, because that you have what's his name used to say, if you trying to do business and okay, we need votes, we need the black American vote, right? The Republican Party has a dirty image. So what they do, they say, okay, look, we need to appeal to just like Democrats, we need to appeal to black voters to get their votes because we want their votes. So of course black people are gonna be standing over, like, hey, look, this is a racist party, they're card carrying racists. Like, how did that look for us to go with card carrying racists versus people that say they're not racist, but they ain't doing nothing for us? So it's like, what I'm going to do, either I'm going to vote Democrat or don't vote at all, because they have integrity. Like, okay, integrity wise, I can't vote for a card carrying racist. So it's either I'm going to vote Democrat or don't vote at all. So when you were saying, well, Donald Trump say, hey, look, African Americans, whatever, I have a platinum plan for you. I have $500 million plan for you guys and stuff like that. Look, most people, including me, I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. That sounds good. Even though I think you're full of shit, but at least the thing I love about Trump and the Republican Party, if believe them or not, lying or not, they know what the people want. right? They know what we want, right? Democrats know what we want. They play patty cakes. They play like, oh yeah, we're with you. You have to go to those bad, mean old Republicans. If those bad, mean old Republicans, lying or not, they're putting something on the table that you said that you're for, and you're not even putting on the table as Democrats. So my whole thing with Trump, to me, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? And if you're following Trump through the whole time, okay, he's probably doing it as a campaign ploy and things like that. And I think some, if not most black people was like, if it was coming, let's say it was coming from a different person that's running for the Republican Party that didn't have such a racist background, then I think black people would have been pushed more towards, more than now, would have been pushed more leaning on the side of Donald Trump.
But hold on, but who had a racist background?
Trump.
Trump doesn't have a racist background.
Okay, sir. So Trump is, so you're saying Trump is not racist at all as far as his rhetoric and critique of other people?
Listen, we can make an emotional argument about anybody being
no, it's not emotional. I'm just going based upon the things that he said during events and certain things that happen in the news of how he views things. That's it. Okay. It's not emotional.
So my question is, tell me a racist statement that Trump made. Tell me a statement that was racist towards any group of people.
Okay, so during the that rally they had in Charlottesville, where you had all those alt-right people going out there with ticket choices saying the Jews will now replace this, blood and soil, all these Nazi chants, and people say, "Hey, how do you feel about what's going on?" He said, "There's good people on both sides." How's there good people on both sides? And you have one people saying so-called anti-Semitic rant, and then you have other people that took what Trump was saying and the alt-right was saying and Richard Spencer and all these things he was saying, took a car and killed people and mowed down a whole bunch of people. That's one instance.
So
there's other instances, but I'll let you talk.
So in that instance, you're incorrect. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you watch the entire video, see what mainstream media does is they have a genius thing of giving you a clip. So a lot of times they'll lie by omission, meaning they'll give you half of a statement that was said, and then you won't even investigate any of the whole video. So the video actually lasted about 5.5 minutes. And so the reporters kept asking him what he meant by fine people on both sides, and he was very clear each time they asked him. So basically what he was saying was there were people there that were there to protest the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee, and then those that wanted the statue taken down. He said there were fine people on both sides of that group that had the permits to protest. He said he was not talking about the neo-Nazis, the white nationalists, or the KKK. He said that 3 times in that same interview. He was not talking about them. And then he also said that they should be condemned. He said, and then the next day on TV, he said he was going to press charges against them. So what I'm saying is a lot of times, most of the media that we see is liberal, meaning that most of CNN, MSNBC, even most of Fox, all these are liberal companies and have a liberal stance on things. So when you hear that Trump says something,
Fox is not a liberal station though. Fox is pro-Trump.
Fox is not. Fox is owned by the same folks that own the rest of these companies. Fox, listen, when this election happened, they told Fox they couldn't talk about certain things regarding this election. Don't tell me they are liberal. If you can't speak about everything, you liberal. So what I'm telling you is
that's no. During the time we're sticking with the time of when that happened. Now it's different. Now Trump don't like Fox or whatever because of he's saying that the election was stolen and all these other things was just untrue, and Fox is going to get sued because they're saying that the election was stolen.
But sticking to what you said about fine people on both sides, that is an incorrect statement. And I can.
So you're saying Trump never said there was fine people on both sides?
Listen to me. That is a lie by omission. That's saying find people on both sides, and then I'm going to add context to what he said. No, you can't do that because he said what he meant. He said what he was talking about. He was very specific. It is a
so that's why I'm asking. So either you can't say that this is a fine person, this person is a fine person, where everyone knows this person is a fine person and try to explain that away. That makes no sense.
Donald Trump never said that the neo-Nazis were fine people.
No. I didn't say he said it verbatim. He said there were fine people. When they asked about the situation that happened, they only asked about the killing and all those alt-right people committing. Hold on, they were asking about the neo-Nazis and the alt-right people that was there to protest a Confederate statue that they were going to do. They say, what do you feel about that? He started talking about, well, let's find people on both sides. They didn't ask him about both sides. They asked him about the people that committed murder. And he said there's fine people on both sides.
Time out. What Donald Trump said, because again, the media is liberal. So when they're asking him questions, they're not just asking him questions. They're asking him questions with intent to create a narrative. So again, he specifically said, I am not talking about the neo-Nazis, the white nationalists, or the KKK. He said they should be condemned. He was very specific. He said he was talking about the people that were there to peacefully protest either the keeping up the statue of Robert E. Lee or taking down the statue. So what I'm saying is, what he never said that the racist people were fine people. He never said that, ever. He never said it. And it's proof he didn't say it. But again, most folks didn't watch the whole video. They just saw fine people on both sides and they listened to the talking heads on TV spin the narrative. So he also said, if we take down the statue of Robert E. Lee, are we going to take down the statue of George Washington? He was asking them, like, when does it stop? Because you do realize once Robert E. Lee comes down, then MLK comes down, then Malcolm, then all of them come down. Because the whole purpose is to erase history and create something new, which is going to be a communist country. So this is a lot bigger than people think. It's not about racism. Trust me. They're not about racism at all. So Donald Trump, but the example you gave is not, he did not say that. It's incorrect. I think he's muted his mic. You muted his mic?
He can mute himself. Oh, let me unmute. Black Critique, you gotta mute yourself. Black Critique, you there? Yeah, he's muted. Let me remove him, and then we'll bring on Alan B. Alan, go ahead, Alan.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up?
Good. Well, you're never going to convince me that Trump's not a racist. I grew up in New York, and I know, as far as the things he did, as far as housing, and things he did in terms of the Central Park 5. I know some of those things, and I remember them in real time. But that's no surprise to me because Biden's even bigger racist. So,
but how is it racism though?
It's racism because he used his power to end up putting five young men in jail.
No. Let me interject. Okay, Alan. See, hold on, Alan. This is what we overlook when it comes to Central Park 5.
Mm-hmm.
The parents of those kids told their kids
to take the deal
to a crime they didn't commit.
Right, to take the deal. No, he didn't.
He completely overlooked that part.
No, but I'm not overlooking that part. I'm aware of that part. What I'm saying is that he went ahead and he applied pressure. He used his power and money to apply pressure by putting full page ads in the New York Times, which was talking about hanging these kids and setting them up, and then after
he
all
said he wanted to hang them?
Not hang them, but pretty much hang him out to dry is what I was trying to say. And then all these years later, when they were found innocent, he still to this day has never apologized for it, has continued to insist that they were guilty, because Trump has a flaw in his character where he can never be wrong, and that's the main problem I have with him. The things that comes out of his mouth, and he can never be wrong.
So do all the Democrats.
I just started the call saying that Joe Biden is a bigger racist than Trump. So you're preaching to the choir on that one.
But forget Joe Biden. But think about this. See, this is my issue with the whole racism narrative. You're saying he used his power. Who doesn't use their power?
Again.
The one guy in there, he admitted that he did it.
Again, we understand why they admitted they did it. It was the 80s, and people admitted to doing a lot of things and laid down for a lot of crimes back then, especially in New York. Just telling you.
Okay, so how's that on Trump?
It's on Trump because Trump went ahead and to this day, even after found innocent, with all the influence he put out there to get those boys sent to prison, continues to this day to insist upon their guilt, and that's a fact.
There are people that think OJ did it.
Again, I don't know what OJ has to do with. I don't know what OJ has to do with Trump.
Time out. OJ was found innocent, right?
Right. Correct.
People still think he's guilty, right?
Yeah, I think he's guilty.
That doesn't make them racist.
No, it doesn't make them racist
Okay,
to say he's guilty.
So Trump never said in the ad, we gotta lock them up because they're black.
Oh Lord! So he has to actually spell that out for you.
Because that's racism.
I want to get to the next point because we're not going to agree on that, and I want to talk about something that we do agree on. And because you guys are way more conservative than I am, although I understand that black people, we lean conservative naturally. But I believe that the brother Ice Cube was correct. He was actually doing politics the way that people do politics all around the world, and in this other groups do in this country. You set up you get with scholars, you set up a thing where you lobby and you find out which side can give you the best deal. The fact that black people are completely unwilling to do that is foolish, and something that we should definitely be doing.
Well, it will never happen as long as black people listen to white liberals. So if we're controlled by white liberals, it will never happen. So on the table right now, our two talking points are police brutality and voting rights. Those are two things that literally are insignificant in our community. And the numbers on police brutality would actually blow your mind to how insignificant it really is. There's a lot of hype behind police brutality, but it's a talking point that you can have because you have the media behind the talking point. So you can show someone getting killed by the police 1,000 times to justify your argument. But the actual numbers don't really support police brutality. And then when we get to voting rights, we've had the right to vote since the 1800s. People don't vote because they don't want to. And the actual fact is, black people don't vote like that. Nobody wants to say it. We don't vote like that. We just don't. Now listen, we'll go out there and pretend we vote. We'll be like the NBA, do a whole voting campaign, and then most of the black players ain't registered to vote. We'll do stuff like that, but we don't actually vote. So at the end of the day, when it comes to politics, we make politics an emotional thing. And Dinah said something that was brilliant, saying that the Democratic Party has replaced the black church, and it's true.
Absolutely. And that was my original reason for calling. My original reason for calling was to say that, yeah, Dinah is absolutely correct. And, our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama, got the black church to completely change all its values and morals in order to just overnight. I've never seen anything like it. How he managed to do that is absolutely amazing. All of a sudden, black preachers who were preaching against homosexuality all of a sudden became these. Right. Overnight. Right. And the only person who was capable of doing that was our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama. So that is the Democratic Church in action right there. That was the moment where the church became replaced. It got replaced by the Democratic Party.
I mean, I agree 100%, and I just think that because it's so emotional for us, like what Ice Cube did, like you said earlier, was how you handle politics. I'm gonna go to meet with both parties, and I'm gonna go with the best offer. That's how politics is done.
Right.
Like it's not emotional; it's for the best interest of the people. But the Democrats said we'll meet with you after the election, and they still haven't met with them.
Right. Right. No, and it's just amazing to me. My family's from Barbados, and I watch how politics is done. And I could see it because everybody's black. I can just see it for what it is and look at it objectively, and that's exactly how it's done. People go ahead and they figure out what's best for them, and they vote accordingly. And there have been instances where voting for the Democrats was in our best interest, and I'll put this out there. I hate Trump. I really do. I hate that man with a passion. So I would never vote for him. But I certainly regret feeling the need and allowing people to pressure me into voting for Biden this time, despite the negative things I was saying And the same people who were shouting me down, I told them that I was going to vote for Biden. But because I pointed out that, how disgraceful Biden was in that interview on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
People went ahead and would say, well, you must be for Trump, or that you need to be quiet and say this, or you're going to have let the orange man win. And all this rhetoric people were saying when, Biden got up there and did something worse than say that black people were, if you're not black, if you don't vote for him. He literally said that he wasn't responsible for the prison industrial complex, that he was not responsible, and that Hillary Clinton should have never apologized for her role in that, and that he wasn't going to apologize for it. That was far worse than anything else he said during that entire interview.
Well, see, here goes my issue with the hate for Trump, and you can hate who you want to hate, but Trump hasn't enacted any racist policies. So whether he's racist or not, he never actually did anything racist when it was politics, though. He never signed anything that was racist or anything. Joe Biden literally said his name is on every crime bill since 1978. So Joe Biden has a history of racism with policy. So,
yes.
So when we talk about Trump versus Biden, it's not even close. Biden's been in politics for 50 years.
Right.
50.
I live in Maryland, and his record in the state next door to me, Delaware, is atrocious in terms of schools, working with segregationists from Mississippi and stuff like that. So, you don't have to tell me anything about Joe Biden. He's the worst kind of racist in that you don't see him coming for some reason. He's so nice and congenial, and people love to talk to old Papa Joe. And at the end of the day, he'll cut your throat from behind.
Did you hear that meeting he had with the black civil rights leaders and the Black Caucus
yes,
and he told them.
He told them, listen, don't come talk to me. Go to the Hispanics.
Right.
Now, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Would Trump ever tell black people to go talk to the Hispanics?
No.
Would Trump ever offer people that wasn't even citizens $450,000 a year?
No, for different reasons, but no, he would never do that.
You know why? Because he's not going to put people above Americans.
Correct.
He ain't gonna do it.
Correct.
He's not going to do that.
No.
Biden will though. Biden will.
I did do that. I'm looking at the thing. Why couldn't Allen have voted for someone? Okay, I'll explain it. In 2016, I voted for Jill Stein and Jamal Baraka because I was not going to vote for either side. Okay. And then Trump, I felt, was so disastrous in terms of just his mere presence on the international stage. I didn't like it. I think how you represent yourself and how you speak and the things you say matter. And so he's never going to be somebody who I'm going to be comfortable with, especially in that position. And so I just figured, well, I hate this guy. I'm a hold my nose and I'm going to vote for Biden. And I've regretted it ever since. That's the deal.
I'm gonna tell you, in about 2 years, people gonna be begging for Trump. Watch.
No.
No.
Let me interject. Okay. So Blanchard, in Gambia, there was a dictator president. I forgot his name. They got rid of him, and they brought in this new guy. His name is Barrow. Don't you know? I said, listen. Is the same thing is going to happen here in America. Not saying Trump's a dictator, but they are now begging for the dictator to come back. I said the same thing. That people are going to regret not voting for Trump and give it, because I mean, look at what's already going on, and they're not even a full year in yet.
Listen. You're if you think I'm defending Biden, you park up the wrong tree. I'm not gonna defend the man. I told my soon to be ex-wife that's somebody I couldn't stand. She was out, shaking hands with him and stuff. But I can't stand the man. I think he's like I said, he's just like Hillary Clinton, where they were they've practiced racism there so well, and they've gotten a pass for it for so long that they think they can get bold and say whatever they want. And that's what happened with Biden got into that meeting when Al Sharpton failed to do his job and check him, because he was standing right there.
He's working with him. He ain't finna,
Yes.
check him. He working with him. He ain't finna check him.
Well, I got you. Clearly, you know, but I'm just saying that, you know,
golf.
That's what happens, you know. And you know, it's really sad. But no, I think Black people need to be at the forefront of third party politics. I think that's the move. I don't think the Republican Party is the answer. I think Black people either need to leave the country or get involved heavily in third party politics and lead the country in the third party political movement.
Well,
what do you think about that?
You know we're not going to leave, so that's out of the question. And as far as a third party can't win. Again, like I said before, the only way to break this whole system up is for us to say we're not going to vote and state the reasons why. That changed the entire narrative.
Why doesn't voting for a third party change the entire narrative then? Since you're not voting for either party, they have to work for your vote. Because in the way the Electoral College is set up, only two parties can win. So don't believe all that BS about somebody else. Only Republican or Democrat can win. So that you wouldn't be able, even if we all voted a third party, we wouldn't win. So we wouldn't win a national election, but we could certainly win local positions and things like that. So how is voting locally work for our people over the last 70 years? We don't vote locally. That's part of our problem. We tend to vote, come out in huge numbers for national elections, the big show. And then when it comes to the secondary elections, the local elections, and even for our Congress and other things like that, we don't vote. So if we don't vote in local elections, then do you believe we would vote Republican? I'm sorry? Okay, so you said we don't vote in local elections. If we did vote in local elections, we would vote Republican or Democrat? If we voted for in local elections, we would just find the D and just hit the levers all the way down. So it'd still be a losing. And that's what I'm trying to say through third party politics. We can break. You can break the habit. You don't have to worry about the guilt many people would feel for voting Republican, but you can break the habit of just pushing D all the way down and feeling that pressure to do that. So you'd actually have to think about who you're voting for and what it is that you're voting for, instead of just finding your favorite name brand and doing that. So what white liberal is going to endorse the third party? So what network's going to endorse them? CNN is not going to endorse them, and that's our religion. CNN is our church. So CNN is not going to support a third party. No white liberals are going to support a third party. No white Democrat. Who's going to support the third party to make us want to vote the third party? Well, we have to take it amongst ourselves to want to vote third party. And, we use platforms such as this or YouTube. The same way they went ahead and did that whole ADOS stuff. They can come up and do something constructive. You talking about with BIPOC and ADOS? Yeah, it's instead of pushing that, they could push something that's actually constructive for Black people. It's like vote third party. Let's be the people who own the third party movement. Okay, I agree with you that we should, be independent. I do agree with that. I'm just asking you, what's going to be the buy-in for the people if Ice Cube got shot down for just saying, I want to sit down with both? Like, well, listen. If it takes, you're right. I see where you're going with that. You're absolutely right, because I've been saying the same thing. If it takes white validation in order to get us to do anything, then we're never going to do any shit anyway. So it doesn't matter. And that's really, but it's not white validation. It's white liberal validation. Right. Like, we don't listen to white conservatives. We say they're racist. It's the white liberals that are saying, okay, why would you vote for this third party? And then you would have to come up with a great argument that CNN wouldn't blast to make you look crazy on TV. Yeah, well, again, turn off CNN. I agree 100%. I agree. Turn off CNN. If CNN's a problem and it has that much influence over you, then turn it off. Listen, I love my father, man, but my father would sit there and watch MSNBC from sun up to sundown. And will come up and come to me with stuff about from MSNBC, straight from MSNBC. So, I get it, how we lash onto these networks and we start repeating their talking points, and it becomes a thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Alan, we appreciate you coming on, brother.
All right, man.
Thank you, Alan.
All right, last caller, I promise. Last caller. Hold on, last caller. Black Line, last caller. Go ahead.
Hey, brothers.
Go ahead.
Hey, brothers. I've been listening to y'all, and listen, you guys, you guys are freaking amazing. You guys like it's hard to find decent African American men, especially in our community, who are logical and more thorough and more factual with what they're talking about. And the sad reality is, I'll be honest with you, the majority of our community are stuck in that psychological plantation. They are not giving it up. If Biden literally said, listen, if you love me, if you want to vote for me, slit your throat. The majority of our community would literally do that. We are too indoctrinated way too much about these liberal policies. Even Malcolm X said back in the civil rights era, they're just as dangerous as the Republicans themselves. He literally warned us about this for almost 60, almost 100 years, and we still fall for the same BS.
Yeah.
And what pissed me off, we guys mentioned about Biden and Kamala, is the fact that when 2019, when the majority of African Americans, especially the men, were studying their backgrounds and found what they systematically done to our people, especially to the men, it pissed me off that the majority of our women in our community, not any other culture, but our community, literally vote for the same people that put your black men in the first place in jail. They're the main reason why the black population is really shrinking, and you still don't get them in. If I was a politician and I was putting Mexican men in jail, would the majority of the Mexican community vote for me?
No.
Hell no. They will shoot my ass out.
Yeah.
They would not do that. But that's how it points out the serious dysfunction we have in our community. It's ridiculous and it's sad. And they complain, it's like, they complain with the same situation that we've been in for 400 years. Like, you guys, if you're going to vote, fine, but at least get something out of it. Just get something out of it. And at least think critically about this. That's it. This is not a secret ingredient. There is no trick to this. And what's so sad is, like, we can't at least come to terms with what's best for our community. Like, goddamn, like, America's racism is never going away. That's just a fact. It just is not going away. If you're going to at least talk to Massa, at least get something out of it. At least get something out of it. I don't care. Even just one thing, just one. And it's so sad. It's like a lot of us are going to have to leave our communities to a certain degree in order to help the rest of them who are at least trying to wake the hell up.
Yep.
Because who falls for the same damn trick every time and then complains that they're a victim? That's bullshit. Like, I know it's not our fault racism exists, but it's our fault for preserving this kind of dumbass bullshit society for so long in our community, and then we expect different results. It's pathetic.
And you know what? You know what's funny? I talked to so many people, even women, especially in our community, and they did not know. And it don't really matter to me, but it's just a talking point they like to use. They didn't know that Kamala had a white husband.
They come on, they do that. They do that shit.
No.
They do that shit, bro. They do that. Come on, they do that.
No. I talked to so many women, and they never even looked up anything about her. They never looked, because you got to think, when she was running, she didn't have her husband with her. We didn't really see him till they won, the night they won. She came on stage, remember holding his hand, like we didn't see her husband.
Nah, man.
No, but here's what's funny though. Now, I'm glad you point out. Here's what's funny though. Even when her white Jewish husband did come out, the black woman said, "Go, girl, you go get your man. Go get." Well, he wasn't a Ray or nothing. He was in the streets. He was like, "Go, girl!" Like, he got congratulated. They got congratulated. Like, the sad part is, like, the greatest weapon they use against our community wasn't just incarcerating us as black men and killing us. The greatest weapon in modern times is brainwashing our women and making us the enemy.
Yeah.
When Ice Cube did what he did, it wasn't just because he was on both sides, because he was the only black person, especially a black man at that, especially with celebrity, with good stats and influence, is the fact that he was willing to stand up to Massa and say, "Listen, nigga, I got a deal. What you got?" Because the majority of us are just literally modernized house Negroes. That's what the majority of us are, and we don't want to admit that. We are the most stubborn race I ever seen in any community I ever seen in my life, and it's very sad. There are times I see why some decent African Americans with decent status, they leave the community. In a way, I see why. Who wants to be around fools who repeat the same problems and they won't make no solutions out of it? And it's sad to me. It's like, you guys complain, like a lot of sisters in our community, for example, complain there's no good black men. You turned them down. The only black men you guys want and will love, admire, even respect are white men, gay black men, and Hbcus and Ray Rays. You guys don't want decent black men. You guys don't want to meet the corruption within your own circle. You guys have more code about black girl magic and this feminism crap more than loving, respecting your black man, building the black family. This, like, we're like, and I agree with what you said. Like, we have a sick, I'll be real, fucked up culture. It's sad. It's ridiculous. And like this, like, god damn, it's like, what are we going to do? We have to lead the community, build our own, and be our only sane people. It's like it's getting so difficult to like even get people to understand. Like, just put your beliefs aside. Just look at the logical facts first, and then make a better judgment. Because sad part is, ever since we get more Democrat, I see more. You can literally see it: TV, music, media, even society. Feminism is on the rise. Me Too is on the rise. LGBT is definitely on the rise. Destruction of black families is definitely rising more.
Did you hear Joe Biden saying that the transgender rights were the new civil rights and there's no exception? And I keep telling people, I don't think we understand that there's going to come a time they're going to get on TV and say, listen, there's no more racism. So y'all can forget that. Like, when they get on TV and say that, what are we going to do then? Mm-hmm. When all the issues are about gender equality, gender identification, what are we gonna do then?
It's times like that bullshit. It's like, I'm gonna team with the rednecks. At least they're more fucking logical. Like, god damn, I agree with. I'll be with Billy Bob and Billy Joe. At least someone's like goddamn logic. Like that's gonna be the sad reality. Like, it was so sad. It's like, just like with the incident with Dave Chappelle about this incident. It was one African American comedian, just one. He wasn't a scholar, scientist, or nothing. But he talked about a few jokes, and he was viral for 2 or 3 weeks.
And they said, Black Lion, do you know who led the protests and the boycott against him? You know
the one that was caught with the supposedly anti-Asian comments on her Twitter. That she Twitter.
Well, no, but what was she?
I can't say. What's her gender?
No. I think no. It was a sister that led the uprising.
Oh, okay. Exactly.
Well, like, trans sister, right? Is it trans?
I don't know what she was. She looked kind of.
I think it was trans.
I call them whatever.
She looked kind of masculine.
Yeah, it was trans.
But this is the problem, though. Like, when you even see back in civil rights, we're fighting racism, nothing more. Now we're fighting for rights for communities that don't even like black people. I ask African Americans every day, even sisters, like, the feminists don't like you. The majority of them are white. They don't like you. The white LGBT don't like you.
They don't.
What to do with you?
They don't.
Even Richard Pryor in the 70s, when at the time when he asked the LGBT back in the 70s era, after Dr. King's era, he asked them, "What you motherfuckers have done for us? And you call yourself the same oppressed people as black people? Where y'all been?" He got so much flack for that. And it's way before Chappelle. He called them out. So this is why I believe what Dr. John Henry Clark said. He said the black race has no friends, and we really got no friends in this era, because if you are a serious, determined African American, especially as a man, you are damn near alone. It's literally a lonely struggle, and the hard reality is it's going to get harder, even worse. Only when shit hits the fan, the next thing you know, like, oh, maybe we were wrong. Maybe what we did was mistakes. Like, it's too late.
It'll be too late by then. Like,
it's too late.
Like, by the time we figure it out, it's gonna be too late. Like, because we'll already have the shit. Listen, when Biden said y'all better get with the Hispanics, that should have told everybody what's going on. Oh man. He said, "Don't come to me, go to them." So that means, and I try to tell people, with the HBCU funding, the majority of the funding goes to the colleges that have a 24% or up Hispanic population. That's where the funding
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you read the fine print, they're already setting it up for the Hispanics because they want to get the Hispanic vote, even though the Hispanics are conservative. So they know. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely 100%. You're 100% right. It's like, it's that part. I was on Breakfast Club. Dr. Umar Johnson said this years ago on his very first Breakfast Club video. They bring in immigrants, Hispanics, other cultures in to replace you.
Yes.
Nothing more and nothing less. You're not the slaves from 400 years ago that we need in the plantation. You're done. We can get cheaper labor, cheap money. We don't need you anymore. And this is the reality a lot of us had to accept. The only thing the Afghans gain more money than we are. They're not charging for no mandates for them. They're snatching their ass right from their own country to come over here with no mandates or nothing. So we had this is just a harsh reality we're going to have to face. And the HBCU thing, like the Dr. Claude Anderson said himself, why are you relying to this damn government to pay for your HBCUs? That should be up to us. That's going to be the issue. It's the self-accountability we want to deal with.
What happened to the black-owned HBCU called Morris Brown? What happened to it?
Damn, I never even heard of that.
Oh, it was gone. But I think they're coming back though.
What happened to them though?
It was embezzlement or something, like the money. Yeah.
So you got a black-owned college and they get jammed up stealing money. Like it's crazy. Like listen. We gotta look in the mirror.
Don't ever say the A word was accountability. That is damn near kryptonite to our community, especially to the sisters. That is
especially for our women. Especially for our women.
And the sad part is we have almost every book on African American scholars who told us how to fight these systematic issues and how to deal with them effectively. And we still not listening. The sad part is the new black culture, African American culture today is just stupidity and ignorance.
I saw our women signing a petition against Kevin Samuels, but you weren't signing a petition. Think about it. Out of everything to sign a petition for, you signed it against Kevin Samuels. You could have signed it against these trans trying to take over y'all, taking over being women, taking over women's sports. You could have picked anything, but y'all picked the energy and effort to go against Kevin Samuels, get him off the internet.
It's funny you mentioned. I like how you mentioned that real quick. There's an African American sister right now on her YouTube called the Crimson Cure, and one thing I
love her. I love her.
Exactly, she's the modern Shahrazad Ali. I love her to death.
I love her.
Ali, seriously on point.
I love her.
And one thing about her, she said that was very sad to hear. It's very factual. She said, no matter how well a black man does, especially in this modern era, the majority of our sisters are so brainwashed and programmed to not like successful black men. They are too brainwashed and too programmed to see a decent, loving, respectful, educated, respectful black man as a part of them, as they do with the white men or other men of other cultures. They're too programmed in this era, and she had to admit that like it's going to take them a lot of effort for them to even consider what they're doing, what their way of thinking is wrong. And the thing is, the sad part, it takes. You don't see a lot of sisters who have that kind of accountability to our community like that. And what's so ridiculous is a lot of sisters were warned by the elders before her show even existed. Tells us this is what y'all gonna head towards.
Yeah,
this is just reality here. And I tell sisters like, listen, even some females in my family had to admit like this is why black men go to women of the cultures, or this is why they're going to the continent. You guys are too out of control. Men don't got time for that. We're trying to make sure we survive from police brutality, black on black crime, drugs. We're trying they understand like we trying to survive and try to build wealth and try to move on with our lives. So they don't got time for corrupt sisters like you to get this to fix you. We can't. And the thing is, it's just getting frustrating to a point where, damn, I was like sometimes I feel like it's over.
But the main issue is the reason why women of other races or cultures are more appealing is because they grow up with a culture that appreciates men. So they grow up respecting men. There's no disrespect. When you go to other countries, they can't make it happen disrespecting men. Like here, the women can do it. They can talk. Think about it. We even have songs disrespecting men. Think about it.
Exactly.
TLC had a hit song talking about no scrubs. Like they make entertainment out of disrespecting men in this country. So, of course, it's more appealing for us to go to a woman that's going to actually value what we bring to the table, what we have to offer. But as far as our women, I give it about 20 or 30 years. There's going to be a lot of our women that's going to be, the numbers are going to be staggering, and they're going to, it's going to be staggering.
Exactly. And the sad part is we mentioned that, like we mentioned Kevin Sounds, he's not going away anytime soon. He is too hot right now. He is too viral right now. Why? Because he's one of the few black men that's getting black men high self-esteem that we haven't gotten it in years. We always told niggas ain't shit, brothers ain't shit. I almost replied them become a lesbian, shut the hell up. Like stop disrespecting black men who you never want to pick and get involved in your life. They want to build a family with. So this gonna be one of the main, like Chris, the sister Crimson Cure said. A lot of them are too brainwashed and too programmed to love and appreciate decent black men. And the sad part is they're gonna have to literally suffer from the long-term consequences until the sisters stop using that BS feminism code to actually hold themselves accountable and become better women. Yeah, it's not too late, but the problem is they will, like, accountability is, like I said, it's their kryptonite. They can really, if they just really admit that they fucked up, admit that we need to do better, we can turn our community around in less than a couple of years. It'll take some time, but it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, because the biggest problem in our community is the lack of family. That's
exactly.
We don't have a family. We don't have
exactly. Exactly. You're exactly right. Like I was raised by a single mother. I love her that she was great and everything, but I never want my kids to be raised by a single parent ever. Right. Unless I'm dead, I don't want to hear it. Right. Unless you have to kill me to make not be around my family. I don't do that crap.
Hey yo, but hey, Black Lion, we appreciate you coming on, brother.
No problem, man. Thanks so much for having me. Y'all stay up, all right?
Let me get let me get Lisa. I gotta get last call, but actually, I promise you. All right, go ahead, Lisa.
Oh no, you listen, man. You good, man. You good. Don't
I want to be off. I
see your forehead, Lisa. I see your forehead.
Lisa. Why you hiding, Lisa? Don't hide. I saw you.
I see your forehead, Lisa.
Okay, I want to say, I wanted the other gentleman. Where did he go? I want to speak to the other gentleman.
Black Lion?
Lisa,
yes.
Come back, Lisa.
Go ahead, Black Lion. Black Lion.
Okay, I want Black Lion. I am an African American female.
Here we go.
Now, I want to know. It just seems like there is so much negativity towards Black women.
I knew it.
What is the issue with you, Black Lion?
Okay. As the problem is that, the thing is, for majority of the African American, I say the majority, not all, but the majority of African American females, 80% of them in our community are single mothers. And 80% of them have this ratchet culture mentality that a lot of us are not attracted to. A lot of them don't value the foundation of a strong Black man and loving in families. I'm not saying all sisters, but it's the majority of them, and that's the problem. Like like in other races, the majority of men of all cultures I was raised around, they never had this issue when it comes to family or relationships or anything. Like in Mexican culture, like for example, if some Mexican men see Mexican women who are too Americanized or Westernized, who are too feminized, they can easily go to their family members or like their mom or their father, grandma, find someone who can help them find a suitable wife who's more feminine, more motherly, more caring, stuff like that, and start the family. Black men in America, particularly, we don't have those kind of accesses to build a family that easily. We are always told that we got to get women who are single mothers, get women who are ratchet, get women who are this, just because they look like us. We always told get the Cardi B's and Nicki Minaj's. We're never told to get the Michelle Obamas or any other, or the Mrs. Huxtables. We're never told that. We're always told to get the scraps of the community, and that's why a lot of Black men remain single. That's the issue. And a lot of women don't want to hold themselves accountable because they have this Black female feminist code that they don't want to admit that's destroying the community. They don't want to admit it. And the sad part is, the more they don't hold themselves accountable, the more Black men just keep walking away and do their own thing. I don't want to see us Black men be single for so goddamn long. I want to see us having families and being happy. I don't want to see this. And it pisses me off how every race of man can get a decent woman for no community, like no problem. Like going to the candy store. But we gotta go through a goddamn World War III just to see if we can at least see a decent woman. And that's sad. There's more Black women than Black men in our communities, and we're still struggling to get a decent woman in our community. That's a problem. And what's so bad, and like what the brother said, we have a sick culture that has nothing, that doesn't really help our community in the long term. It's poison, it's dangerous. My dad's Nigerian, my mom's African American. She told me to go with a sister from Nigeria than an African American woman. That's how bad it is. I have to go to a continent to get a decent woman. I can't just find one here. That's ridiculous. I don't want to give up, but why is it so difficult? And then when sisters who try to call the majority of sisters out for their issues, they get attacked. Eli Van Zandt, for example, gave up on black women. She said they're out of control. A lot of sisters who were,
Did she really say that?
Yeah, she said a lot. She said some of us, but she said some of us, but the majority is a lot of us are out of control. Which she had an interview with the sister about why her show canceled. She gave up. She said she was tired. She couldn't fix them. She couldn't help them, and they're not willing to put in the work. And the sad reality.
Okay, so now you went on for a long time. Now I just want to know if you gentlemen are ready to hear the truth.
Now hold on. Now, are we ready to hear your opinion?
No, I'm going to tell you what black men. I'm going to tell you what black women are dealing with. Why you're not getting cooperation.
Go ahead. We ready.
Because
God damn it.
Now there's a trend now. Right now, we have social media, we have the internet, and I'm in my 40s, so I know what is being talked about in the beauty salons. Okay, the African American male versus all other nations of men, they don't work hard enough. If you compare an African American male to an African male, when it comes to working and really taking the jobs, whatever his family needs him to do, he will do it. He's not talking about this job is not good enough for me. He's doing what he needs to do to take care of his family. The African American male in America, they're quick to walk away from their children. They're quick to walk away from their woman. If they're not getting their way, they're quick to walk away. Excuse me, you talk for a minute and I didn't cut you off. I need the same respect. You see right there the double standard, and that's another thing. Double standards.
Okay.
Double
Go ahead.
Double standards. You can't even hold your tongue. You can't, and lack of self-control. Now, when it comes to black men and self-control, y'all have no control over your lustful nature. What black men want to do is lock women down, impregnate them before marrying them, and then after the woman has 1 or 2 or 3 children for him, he wants to turn around and say he's a polygamist. You see what I'm saying? He should be able to have more than one. You see the games and so black women have seen over generations, and they've been told by their mothers, their grandmothers, that black men will not be loyal to you. You will get in there. He will tell you all the sweet things to get you locked into a relationship. And once you're in there, he'll flip the script on you. So you have to go into relationships knowing that you must be independent. You must have an education. You must have a proper job. And I'm going to tell you what, black men sit there and they laugh at you when we're having these conversations. But guess what? Guess when the laughing and the joking is over? When they have a daughter and they have to send that daughter out in the world, and they know that their peers or the young fellas from their race are not equipped to be good husbands, and they are very fearful that their daughters don't have a good batch of men to pick from. You know, our black men do not want to go get education. They don't like to get higher education. And for some reason, they swear that they have to go to a 4-year college. When black women are talking about this, they're talking about any type of education post high school. It could be trade school, but you don't see a high percentage of black men going to college or trade schools.
Lisa, you got Blanchard, college educated, me, college educated. Black Line, did you graduate from college?
Okay. No. Hold up, Dinus. Now you know better than to sit up there and speak about your immediate circle. We are talking about black American males as a collective in the country of the United States of America. You know the statistics, and you know what I'm saying is true.
Lisa, can I ask
black men in America are undereducated, and black women we're sick of the nonsense. We want viable husbands. And I am tired of black men not taking accountability for the fact that they're the ones doing the impregnation. You don't have to put your seed in her. You can put your seed on the sofa, in the dirt, on the grass, in the toilet, in the trash can. But no, you want to let that thing go in the young lady. You want to let it go in her. You're doing the impregnating.
Can I ask a question?
Take responsibility for that.
Lisa, can I ask a question?
All I hear is opinions, nothing factual. Statistics.
So they're not impregnating women? Is that what you're saying? Is that not a fact?
Wait, say one thing.
They're creating all these single. They're men. Black American males are creating the single women.
Okay. Let me say this real quick. Just real quick. Okay. Let's say what we say is true. But here's a.
You don't have to say. Let me say it's true. It is true.
Okay. Now I'm asking this question. Why 80% of our black women are single mothers, and why 50% of black men are singlets and childless?
Didn't I just explain that? Because black men are impregnating these women and walking away from their responsibilities.
It's the ones that the women are picking. It's not us. It's the ones that they're picking that are not good enough to be husbands and fathers.
Excuse me. Let's be honest. Excuse me. Let's be honest here. Now, do most black men look like diners?
No, hell no.
Do they?
No,
they do not. So if you're not in shape and you're sweaty and you're bald and you're out of shape and you're just not looking, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say this. If you're not attractive, then 9 times out of 10, black women are not going to want to talk to you.
There's no excuse to be that's no excuse to be a useless man.
Just because you're smart, if you're not attractive and you can't excite her, she's not going to want to be with you. And not only Pookies and Ray Rays can do that. Diners is not a Pookie and Ray Ray.
Can I give one stat? 81% of black women are overweight and out of shape. 81%.
No. Those women are thick and you know they look good. You need to stop it.
1%.
We are not built. Excuse me. Have you looked at the women in Africa?
Women, no. Y'all over here. Stop taking credit.
No, but the women in Africa, black women are not supposed to be skinny. Black women are not Victoria's Secret models.
Y'all over here. There's studies. They're trying to understand why black women don't want to work out because of their hair. This is factual stuff.
No.
You don't want to.
No. Excuse me. I'm a black woman. You should be asking me instead of telling me about your study. I can tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, you're gonna get a fact right now. It's not an opinion. No, we are tired. We are tired. We are tired. We are stressed out.
High cholesterol.
No, our stress causes high levels of cortisol. Okay? Black women are stressed out, overworked. Our men are not stepping up to the plate.
Poor diets.
The man you picked are not stepping up to the plate.
No. Most black women who have children, their fathers are not stepping up to the plate and doing 50%. Okay? Most black women are overworked.
Well,
we have a high level of stress in our culture.
Future has 10 baby mamas. Why?
Nick Cannon has more than that by now.
Well, I tell you why. Because everyone thinks that they can catch him. He's a good-looking guy.
So?
He's extremely attractive.
Is he a good husband and father?
I understand that.
Is he a good husband and father?
No, every woman is thinking that they're going to change him, maybe.
Lisa,
this is what you
and that's their
no, hold up. I would never date him, but I'm telling you what's in the mind of these women that they think maybe they can change him.
Lisa, he has 10 baby mamas.
Yes, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you what's in the mind of these women. They're thinking that they can change him, that, okay, this is going to be the relationship he's going to commit to. I mean, I would never touch him with a 10-foot pole, but I mean,
that's the majority of our community, though. That's the problem. For some odd reason, in any culture, especially the traditional women and other races, a decent class working class man is a sexual attraction to the natural normal.
Right.
Like this Mexican man right now in my area who are just good carpenters, butchers, or they're good plumbers, and they got a good wife and kids, no problem. So it's like black men, the majority of black men are going back to trades right now. So why are we why you guys having a problem getting a decent husband?
Are you act like it's so many viable men out there with great careers and
I didn't say great careers. I didn't say some decent. I said decent careers and some decent jobs.
Decent. What's a decent? Okay, what's a decent job and a decent career?
A decent, like I said, plumber, carpenter. You can be a decent teacher.
Do you think there's a lot of plumbers, black male plumbers and carpenters right now? I mean, I know. You know what I see? You know what I see when I'm out there? I see a lot of young men who don't have jobs, who don't have education. They got a sad story. They moving from one sofa to the next, from one woman to the next, because they're living off these women. They're using these women.
And a
lot of times these educated black men, you know, they get taken very fast in college. And it's like it's a hot potato. You know, it's a race to get these guys. And before they graduate, they're already taken. They got a fiance, white or black.
Yeah, but women and other coaches don't have unrealistic high expectations. They have realistic.
Hold up. Hold up. What have you ever been with an African woman? Because you are clearly mistaken.
Actually, yes, because my father's Nigerian.
Okay, so then is this African in America? Because the African woman's standards are more than the African American. We work with our men.
No,
you're talking about an indigenous poor African over in Africa.
What the hell?
I'm talking about an African that is here in America.
Yes, I told my father's Nigerian. He lives here. He lives in LA.
Sir,
yes, he introduced
an African woman that lives in America, their standards are pretty high. And they expect you to work your butt off.
And the African American women's standards are not high also?
African American women's standards are not that high. I'm telling you.
Here's what's funny though. They still got the ring.
Because African
black women's excuse in this country.
Sir, who is this right here? He is Blanchard. Mr. Blanchard, are you not being realistic? Are you trolling me? Because you've got to know that there are too many black American men not working up to their potential.
Can I give you the stats? Can I give you some stats?
I want to know one thing from you first.
Okay.
Did you grow up with your father?
I did not.
That would be a yes or a no.
I did not.
Okay. Boom. Facts.
Okay.
But who picked the man?
Facts.
But can I finish?
There you go, right there.
Okay, my grandfather was around. My uncles were around. Like there was male figures around. So it wasn't like I was just out there asking with no kind of male guidance. There was male guidance. So when we say father not there, it doesn't mean that a strong male presence wasn't there. You understand that? So let's go back to the statistics. Our women are the least likely to get married out of all demographics on the planet.
Because the men that are impregnating them refuse to marry them.
Just let me finish. You can chew me out. Lisa, our women are the least likely to get married. Our women are the most likely to get divorced. Our women are the least likely to get picked in online dating. So even online, when there's a bunch of men looking at our women, they still don't choose our women. And 80% of divorces are filed by women. So that means even when our women are getting married, they get divorced at a higher rate, which means they're filing for the divorce. So all I'm saying is there are some things that our women do that sabotage their success when it comes to marriage and relationship. We got to be honest with that.
Iyanla Vanzant gave up. That says a lot right there.
On top of 81% being overweight or out of shape. 74% single mothers. 74% of our women are single mothers. That's an epidemic.
And the sad truth is, you can prove by any type of psychologist, they prove men by nature are not sexually attracted to women with a child, especially if it's not theirs. That's just a global thing.
Don't say that.
You can go to any psychologist. They've proven this. No man is sexually attracted to women with kids, especially if it's not theirs. Because it feels like we're intruding into someone else's family. We can't raise them. We can't discipline them. So technically, they're kind of, in a way, useless to men in some ways, and this is in every culture. This is just just reality.
And 9 times out of 10, the baby's father is not a person that she should have had a kid with.
Exactly. We don't get to choose we have sex with. They do.
They do.
We're not in control. And Kevin Sound's been saying this so many times. It's a statistical fact. And this
Lisa.
Like the sad part is, I explained the entire thing, and all she heard was that particular part while I was saying. I'm saying a lot of black men do want to get married. We do want to be happy and build families. We should not wait till we're 30, I'm saying like 45 or 50 or 80 just to wait until a decent black one to come. That sucks. That's really pathetic. Mexican men can get married by the time they're 20, like they're from 19 to 22 or 25 with a decent wife, no problem, no questions asked. So easily. Arab, East India, you name it. But for us, it's a battle royale.
All right, light work. Go ahead, light work. Last call, I promise. Last call. Go ahead, light work.
Hi, yeah, I'm just really shocked by the rhetoric that's going on here. Like, I don't see any balance and I see a lot of blindness. Like, I'm just that client's talking points. I don't understand his problem with feminism, the problem with Black women, and the total blindness and looking at what men are doing. Like, I'm not really hearing anything about what you're doing to just be better human beings, better partners. I think those are talking points and conversations that you can have, as opposed to constantly crying and saying, oh, Black women this, Black women that. And you're basically talking about the people who stayed, the women who were there when your fathers left. You're talking about the people who were there. Both human beings decided to have sex, they decided to have a child, and someone left. And because you were with the one that stayed, you cannot get angry at a ghost. You cannot be upset at someone who's not there. But because you're with someone who might be, has become a single mother because someone has left, so to speak, and they now express their full selves, you see them in their full selves, you experience every side of them, including the incredibly difficult part of raising a child by themselves when someone left, then you now see that and say, oh, this person is difficult. Oh, this person should have endured more. Oh, this person should have tolerated more, because you see them, because they're there. But who is having a conversation about the people who are not there, like your fathers, right? And I still, again, this whole conversation is futile if you're not looking into the partnership you're actually speaking of. If you're not going to talk about an actual partnership, you're talking about Black women, Black women, Black women this, and so Black men will go. And you will go where? Where will these Black men go away to? Where would they go?
Well, you want the truth, or you just want the regular feminist talking point? What you want? You want the truth?
It's your choice. This is a conversation, so you can. I don't know if you.
Well, I'll say this. Well, first of all, I'll say this: the issue with the whole male and female conversation in our community is the fact that no one has a problem telling Black men where they failed.
Is that so?
No one has a problem holding Black men accountable.
Hell yeah.
Nobody. Nobody has a problem holding Black men accountable. Nobody. You can go to any talk show, any mainstream media platform. You can get on there and say, Black men need to do A, B, C, and D, and the whole crowd applauds. You cannot do the same thing for our women. You just can't. So one of the major issues is holding our women accountable. The woman Lisa just said that the men were getting the women pregnant.
And how are you holding them? Like, how are you holding women accountable?
You gotta let them finish. Like, we gotta let them finish. Go ahead.
So basically what I'm saying is, if you listen to the rhetoric that said when it comes to men and women in our community, all of the pressure is put on the men. The women are seen as victims and the men are seen as culprits. So like you just said the man left. But who said the man wanted to leave? Who said she didn't divorce the man? Who said she didn't kick him out? Who said that she wasn't the bad person in the relationship? But you immediately took a stance that it was the guy that did something wrong, like he left. No, in relationships, men and women do bad things, and men and women do good things. The problem is when we have a conversation, it's always one-sided. It's what the men, Lisa came on and said 1,000 things of what men did. she didn't say one thing of what women did, not one. You've come on here. You have not said one thing that women should be held accountable for. Just give me one thing.
I did speak about the balance. No. And everything you guys say, factual. Nobody is naming an actual source. We don't know the credibility of your sources, none of that stuff. All I'm hearing is we're having a conversation and someone said, bring something factual. I've heard a lot of non-facts and you guys are this fact and this statistics, that statistics. There are so many. I did not say that. It doesn't mean I did not say that it's because I don't want to hear it or whatnot. I didn't say that. You guys
run on emotions, not
no. But you're the one in your feelings. So why are you talking like? You're the one in your feelings. You're the one who's been crying about black women. You're the one called Black Liar.
Jesus Christ.
You know, you're the one in your feelings. But all I'm saying is the statistics that you're pulling out, right? And you can absolutely pull the statistics out and dump them. But like, what are the sources so that people can vet them, right? If we're going to have a conversation and you guys are going to scream about facts, then, it will be very helpful.
Are you going to do anything besides rant?
But anyways, Black Lion, you said a lot of falsities and you said you're Nigerian and you're all this and you're talking about African women, and everything you said was just wrong. Saying that, African women are going to do this and do that. Like, that's wrong. That's absolutely bollocks. And she was 100% right. And you know this. A lot of African women have very, very, very high standards for the people they want to open their wombs to. And that is a fact. And you know this, right? So I understand why you're crying, because the standards are crazy. I agree. So I want to answer Blanchard. Because Blanchard mentioned a balance, right? Right, Blanchard, you mentioned a balance, right? And I completely agree about that. And that's why I was really shocked when I came on here and saw and heard like misogynistic comments, because I'm like, if you want to have a constructive conversation, like you said, Blanchard, if you want to have a constructive conversation, then you should talk about how Black women and Black men can work together. As opposed to saying, and I'm not talking to you, Black Lion, rah, 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 you've been roaring and crying. But I'm talking to you, Blanchard, because Blanchard made a point, and I want to address actual points, right? Blanchard made a point about the women coming on here and not speaking about that, right? You want to marry me?
Hell
exactly.
No.
Exactly. So shut your mouth. You're talking as if you can. Can you even marry? Can you marry? You cannot marry. So when I'm speaking to Blanchard, just relax.
Light work. Turn your camera on. Let me see you. Let me see.
I'm not going to turn my camera on.
I mean, you asked me to marry.
No. Please make whatever assumptions you want about my physical appearance. That's 100% fine. I want to address points again. That's why I'm speaking to Blanchard, because he's bringing a point, and he mentioned the balance, and I agree with that, because it is important to have that balance. So why don't we have a more constructive conversation about what each party can do, as opposed to misogynistic
because y'all don't believe in accountability. It's there.
Okay.
You guys.
But I just agreed with what Blanchard said on the importance of how we can work together. So who is the we and the accountability? Because you're still crying.
Oh, shut up. Jesus Christ.
Lightwork, can I say one thing? Lightwork?
No, Black Lion likes to breathe. You won't talk. We're giving you the position.
Let's play this game. Talk. If African women are literally the same as the average African American woman,
I did not say that, but go ahead.
Women still guaranteed the ring.
I did not say that, but go ahead.
If African women, let's just say that. Why?
Because now you cannot fool anybody. Your African sisters come. Let's talk.
Let me finish. Why are African women still to this day still guaranteeing a ring and a husband?
Are they?
The average African American woman.
So let me just even. So do you think that having a ring and a husband does anything that is so different from a single woman? Do you really think that adds something to their lives? No, I'm just saying, right? Because the women you speak of in African households, and when you're talking, I know you're talking about the misogynistic, traditional patriarchal household, right? where what happens? The men marry. There's nobody, and ladies, let me tell you this: there is no man, right, more single than a married Nigerian man or a married African man. There is no man on earth more single than that, right? Because they would marry whatever, whenever they're ready, whatever works for them, right, and their families whenever they're ready. That does not, for them, mean that they're going to, you know, and honestly, I'm not even just about African men alone. I'm just talking about, I'm not just Nigerian men, right? You would marry someone for your own benefit, either for a man who they want to take care of you, build a home, add to your finances, whatever the case may be. But her quality of life, what is the difference? Are you upgrading her quality of life? These are the constructive conversations you should be having, because many people, your mothers and your aunties, you know a lot of African women who got married and are terribly miserable. Most of them are also single moms. They're married single moms. We know plenty of married single mothers suffering in a household where there's supposed to be a man, and he's either floundering around or not at home and not doing what he's supposed to do. So speak about the things that are more constructive. If you want to talk about family and building, speak on that. But the fact that you are banging on patriarchal standpoints is weak. And instead of breathing and crying, talk.
Feminism.
Speak. Because the feminism is paining you because you don't even know what feminism means.
Jesus Christ.
What is feminism, Black Lion? Please, I beg, tell us, what is feminism?
This is the definition. This is why Iyanla Vanzant gave up on Black women.
Yes, good job. When you are finished crying, tell us what is feminism. We are not stupid. When you cry and finish, what is feminism, Black Lion, that you're angry about?
It's the one that can't get a man and one can't keep one.
Okay, you see this? This is in definition. So when a human being stays and starts talking like this, you already know the foundation is not there. What is feminism, Black Lion? The woman who cannot stand a man and keep a man. Oh yeah, clap for yourself. Blanch, please, let's be talking, because I can't.
Feminism is women want to be, or I guess since we're speaking on Black women, feminism is Black women who want to be white men.
Oh, okay. That's your definition?
That's my definition.
Okay, all right, so great. So let's just call it what it is. Each and every person has decided. So you guys have basically decided your own definition of feminism, right? And it's all anti-man, right? So basically, we're not even talking about feminism. We're talking about your own definition of things that are, I don't know, in the air, or things you've just put it under a certain umbrella. I don't understand, because that is not what feminism is. You all know that. But Blanchard, please go ahead.
Look at Gloria Steinem.
Blanchard, go ahead. Go ahead, yes. Blanchard.
So there's a definition for feminism, but I think the issue is how feminism is practiced. No,
but go ahead. You were talking about the definition.
Yeah. So, but no, what I'm saying is, it's not that feminism; it's how feminism is implemented. So, what it's used for.
So it's not feminism, and it's not the definition itself of feminism. So then feminism is not what these two men have said it is.
No. They're talking about how feminism is implemented.
They're not talking about the definition. Okay. All right, go ahead.
But when it's implemented to basically, it's the castration of men. That's basically what it is when it's implemented. It's the castration of men, because it starts out as equality, and then it goes into something else like women being over men. That's the issue with it. It's supposed to be equality for both sexes. By definition, it's the equality for both of the sexes. But I want to just say what Black Lion talked about earlier. He said that, he clarified what he said when he said that the African women had lower standards. He said they had more realistic standards.
Oh.
More realistic standards than American women. That's what he was talking about, realistic standards.
Okay, so do you think that the average African American man, right, that you guys are, speaking of, or that Kevin Samuels talks to, or whatever the case may be, do you think that they can, I don't even want to use the word afford, because that just dehumanizes everything, but do you think they can marry traditionally? They can marry an African woman traditionally, or an African American woman, in the same way that an African woman would culture would demand. Do you think that they can afford it?
Can I tell you? Well, first of all, in our culture over here, the woman's father is supposed to pay for the wedding, right? So if her dad isn't present, that means the man has to be the one to pay for the wedding. So it's already out of balance. So I think we're talking about traditional things, but people aren't able to actually implement these traditional things. So if she's a woman that's going to be a wife, is going to be a mother, is going to turn a house into a home, then surely I don't think any men on this platform would have a problem with it. The problem is these women want these kind of traditional values, but they want to do it as modern women and feminists. That's
okay. So anyway, that's a lie, right? Everything that Black Lion just said there is first of all, it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay, African women, and it's not just, and culturally, right? It's not just about money. Let's make that very clear. Money is basic, right? You have to bring it. That's basic. There's so many traditional things involved, right? It's not just about money. So we definitely demand a lot more, because there's very, very deep cultural rights and stuff that people have to go through. It's not just about, bring your money, bring your this and that, and no. It's not. It's a lie. It's a freaking lie. Yeah, and I'm just letting you know that Blanchard, it's a lie. Don't listen to this man. He's lying.
What I lie about?
Not you, Blanchard. I'm telling you, don't listen to what Black Lion said, because it is a lie. What he's saying about African women not demanding as much as African American women, it's complete nonsense. It's a whole lie.
He said they have more realistic expectations. He said
like what? Ask him now, Blanchard. You ask him like what? Because when it's coming from a woman who's not saying, "Please, sir, I beg, sir, our Black Lion, sir, roar." If it doesn't come out well, he wants to hear, "Black Lion, tell us how we can be better, Daddy." My sweetheart, I beg, Blanchard. So why don't you use your own voice? Because a lot of men nowadays are just seeing like there's more romance and more love between you people. It's not, you don't want to share. So please use your own voice that he likes to hear, that sweet voice, and ask him what he means, what realistic standards he's speaking of.
Here's realistic standards. Do women in our let's say African American women in our community, do they look for a man who wants to be a father?
What community are you in, Black Lion? Let's just see, what community are you even in? Our what community are you in? I will open you, let everybody hear. What community?
Do you have duct tape for that mouth of yours?
No, you see, that's why you don't Black Lion. My dear, what community are you part of? Sorry.
You should just stay single. Jesus
I know. I'm so single, right? Just like you.
Well, let me finish.
Let me shut my single mouth.
Let's just say an African American community for standards. Okay. Do the women in the African American community for the women? They look for a decent Black man who has a decent job, who wants to be a father, who wants to be a good husband, who wants to build wealth with his wife and build more and help the community. They look for a man with that kind of mindset at all.
Oh, so they're not looking for this. So basically, all these women,
realistic expectations, just realistic.
Right. So all these women who are opening their legs, including some of the mothers and fathers of people who are on here, let me not talk. But all these women who are opening their legs, when these men came to them, they came to them as, I'm a deadbeat. I don't have a job. I don't have a life. In fact, in 3 months, I'll ruin your life. But baby, let me spread my seed with you. Open sesame. You think that's what happened with all the women in your family or whatever that left? The men came and said, "I'm useless. Let me have a child with you." Right? Yes. That's what happened to African American women, right? They don't have any standard. It's just they pick anybody. Most of them just picked anyone, right? So let's not have a conversation about how both of us can be better. Let's just be talking about how the women just saw this horrible man and said, "Please, I like it. Come, I like it. Let's have children. The way you're useless is so fascinating. Give them to me." Right? Right? None of these women asked these men, "Do you have a job?" None of these women saw these men literally perform seriousness towards them, express their desire to build with them, etc. And these men one day, or maybe, you know what? Let me not even do that. Let me be very like straightforward, right? With rational thinking people, because there are obviously people who don't have self-respect. Just shut up, Blanch. It's not Blanchard. But that is a roaring lion. Stop roaring and crying. Look at the two men above you. Are they crying like you? Can you not learn something? Black lion. Anyways, so as I was saying, Blanchard. As I was saying, what I'm saying is this, right? I'm not. You're
not even trying to counter my argument. What you said, what's a good black man? You're not countering my argument. You just
Black lion, please shut up. Everybody's ratchet who you don't like. Everybody is single who you don't like. You know, you're the only person who is not. Just
shut up. Relax. Stay single, get a dog, and die alone. Because you don't know how to shut the fuck up.
There you go. It's coming out. I love it. This is the insecurities I was talking about, right? Anybody, this man does not know me from Adam, but automatically, bam, I'm single, right? Two, I don't understand men. Christ. I don't understand men at all.
Just ask a question, please.
I don't have to ask a question to you because your brain is not working.
Whatever.
Your brain is not working. I'm having a conversation with Blanchard, and I was answering you. I was answering responding to the point you made. Period. And you don't want to hear it.
Light work. I think you should try to listen to what Black Lion. You're not listening to him because he's trying to articulate his point. You keep kind of cutting him off. Let him finish.
I let him fully talk, and he kept interrupting me. But go ahead now. Finish your point then. Finish your point then, since you have a point. And when you finish, tell me you finished.
I'm just saying, if anyone of any race, literally by nature, wants a decent husband with realistic expectations, does he work? Does he want a good husband? Does the man want to be a good husband? Does he want to be a father? Does he want to help build wealth with her? Does he want to help build a community? Does he want to help? Does he want to see a woman who help uplift him and become better people for each other? That's it.
Okay, and then when they finish all that and they leave, then what?
What?
When they say all that, when the men come and they perform that they want to be there, they want to be wonderful fathers, they want to build with them, they want to, just be, shining figures in their community. When they perform all of this and they come into a woman's life and they ruin everything and they leave, then what? Then whose fault is it that now we have birthed a baby roaring lion?
Listen,
whose fault is it?
The thing is, with men, they're honest to who they are from the get-go. They don't BS and lie. They don't wait till
men
after marriage or children. They let you know from the get-go. We never we don't like denying our nature. If he's
nature.
If he's from the streets or he's from Pookie and Ray Ray, they don't lie who they are.
Oh, so people who live in penthouses don't perform and fool women every day 24/7. It doesn't happen at all.
Do you watch Tyler Perry movies or something?
I don't know what that is, but it seems like you really know what that is.
Listen, if a woman picks a guy based on realistic expectations and decent standards, she'll pretty much have no problem getting a decent husband,
Okay, that's why I'm calling you a liar. You're a liar. This is not even an untruth. This is not, you actually know that you're lying. I'm sorry, Blanchard. I know how it sounds, and I know but honestly, Blanchard, you guys, come on. You got to know this man is lying. He's not a child. This is not even a thing of ignorance. This is not an ignorance thing. You're not going to sit here and pretend at your big age, because you sound big, at your big age, right? At your elderly age, right? You're going to be someone's ancestor someday. Do you understand that? So act like one. You're going to be an ancestor. Somebody's going to call you an ancestor. Act like one. So shut up and listen. You're not going to tell me that people, you're not going to tell me that people who live in penthouses, who have great jobs, who actually might even be good friends and human beings to other people, but horrible partners, right? You're not going to tell me that men or even women, right, who mean well even don't perform these things and end up leaving someone high and dry. You're not going to tell me that a lot, and I'm not just saying like stop making it purely economic. You can't shut me when I can shut you, or Black Lion. You actually cannot roar. You actually cannot. So shut up. I've come here for you because you're not going to lie to these people. Use the African rhetoric. Use other cultures. No, I'm very well versed in women of several cultures. Black women in several cultures. Brown women, and I'm telling you, even Indian women. They don't want a lazy man. Well, they don't want a baby. They don't want an angry man. They want a man who is speaking about constructing and building, and not a man who is when we're acting as if I beg. Then what are you talking about then? If you know that is what women look for, so if you know that that's what women look for, but still are not getting these quality men, right? If you're going to throw the statistic at me, then you're going to also throw the statistics that Black women literally have the slimmest pool to pick from, right? Black women are literally more educated than Black men. Black women literally, for the most part, are so-called programmed. Relax. That is a statistical fact, right?
Fine. Let me say this. No, let's say this. Black.
No. Wait. No, I'm listening to Diana's. Please, I cannot be listening to a boy. Diana's, please talk.
Wait, can I say something?
No, hold on, Black Lion. The issue I have with the whole education piece is, okay, they are more educated, but they also have the most college debt. So that's
good point. You can definitely say that. That's a good point. So please, Black Lion, when your elders are talking, I hope you're listening. Okay, because he did not say that's wrong the way you said, because that is a statistical fact. But he added that that means they I don't know the statistics, how accurate you are on that, but that kind of makes sense because of the system, America's system and how people go to school, right? How they make education so-called quote unquote acceptable, right? But point blank is, if these women, and a lot of African American women, right? If these women are, raised since they were kids to revere Black men and to date among their people, and we know that Black women love and date among their own people, if they cannot find suitable husbands, even when they're expecting the very honestly, what Black women in other cultures consider the least, like, you have to be educated, very well educated. You have to be hungry. You have to hustle. You have to look for money. You have to be able to take care of your family. You have to be a rock. Masculine energy is about being a rock, not about crying online. Masculine energy is literally about, I know I'm yelling, and I am feminine, right? And in my wild, darkest feminine self, this is what the feminine is. Unfortunately, you're not educated, so you do not even know what feminine is. You don't even know what divine feminine is. You don't know what dark feminine is. All you know is when. So shut up. So like I was saying, the masculine is a pillar. The masculine is a pillar, and whenever even as the feminine is rowdy and emotional, the masculine is what? Constant and just is secure within itself.
Again, how's feminine?
It's secure within itself and stands and is the rock. But when a man is going rare online, the woman will not have to be a rock. The woman will not have to stand.
It's me. Go ahead, It's me. Go ahead.
Why is it that it's easier for you to hold men accountable, but when it comes to women being held accountable, you call it hatred?
You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me, right, Etienne? So you don't know that I don't hold. No, Etienne, what you're saying is based on something you don't know. You don't know if I hold women accountable. And if you were listening from the start and you heard me and Blanchard's conversation, you would realize that me and Blanchard literally are just speaking about working together and having a rhetoric that is based on that, as opposed to a rhetoric that is pushing women down and saying women's fault, or man's fault, as opposed to how to work constructively together, because all this stuff is basic. It really is. And I'm only here, honestly, because I was shocked. Usually, I'll just listen. The problem is a lot of high unrealistic expectations. But Etienne, do you understand what I'm saying?
The average African woman in our country doesn't meet the basic standards.
We cannot hear Etienne when you are roaring like a baby lion.
I'm saying Etienne, you only ask for balance. You only ask for put under the microscope.
What?
That I see this conversation whenever men are being talked about. It's never men and women, but whenever women are put under the microscope, then we have to be balanced.
There's always this balance. Speaking now,
holding women accountable. So,
okay.
Like,
is this an incel channel, Dinah?
No, this is not an incel channel. But
are you sure? Because I honestly didn't know your channel was like this. I used to love it. I was like, so today I come on and I'm like, what is all this darkness here? So strange. But Etienne, can you, Etienne, I'm going to ask you to do one thing, right? Etienne, the only thing I'm going to say right now is if you can literally remove any defensiveness and truly listen, right? And let me tell you why I'm saying this, Etienne. Because if you truly are listening, or maybe you came in very late and so you were a little bit triggered and you rested in
I've been listening to the conversation
from the beginning.
No,
right?
I'm not triggered.
From the beginning. Okay, good. Because to me, if you were listening, you would have heard me and Blanch literally right, speak about the importance of having a conversation that is focused on what? On growth, right? And if you're having a conversation that's focused on growth and building together, then you're not having a man bashing and woman bashing festival. It is the most inconstructive nonsense. Do you understand what I'm saying, Etienne? And I'm not even kidding. This is literally the most stupidest thing I've seen on the internet is men and women going back and forth because it is an actual joke.
This is why men are leaving the community in droves.
Then bye, we are going to see where it goes. Where are you going? Nobody wants you. I'm sorry, Etienne. Go ahead. No, I'm not feminine. I'm not feminine because the thing between my legs is bigger than yours. But go ahead, Etienne.
From where you and I are coming from, you know that is to the women, is to the women to hold the women accountable.
No more.
Etienne, I'm sorry, somebody was.
Okay. It's to the women to hold the women accountable and the men to hold the men accountable. There is never this clashes between men and women because the older women are supposed to hold the younger women to task, while the older men hold the younger men to task. But this is the case where the older men and the older women can hold the men accountable. But it seems that when it comes to holding the women accountable, nobody wants to hold the women accountable.
But
the women
where?
That's why the men feel forced to do the same thing.
Oh, okay. So the women are not holding women accountable. Are you in women's spaces? Do you live in women's spaces? Do you participate in conversations in women's spaces? Because I'm in a lot of women's spaces, and the men who are in these spaces as well, who are there to listen and to contribute and to ask questions and to learn, they never actually say that, right? They never talk like that, right? So I'm wondering where are these spaces that you're going to? Where are these women's spaces that you're going to, where women are telling women, or that women are not telling women what they need to do to be better human beings, one, and then better partners, two, right? I want to know what spaces you're frequenting. Are you frequenting spaces like these, men's spaces, or are you frequenting women's spaces?
First of all, I don't frequent on any channel. Every time I hear this conversation on YouTube, it's always what the men should do. But when it comes to what the women should do, then the blame is always a gameplay. It's like
so let me help you, right?
Can I answer the question? It's like you are giving the men more responsibility, but you are also taking away the authority from the men also. It's like they are chasing like the donkey and the cow. They are chasing this idea that they have to do this, they have to do this. But when it comes to them having the authority over these women and these families, then you also want to play into the Western ideas. Like
now
these
you're
women want
talking
to talk about this woman wants to talk about traditionalism and all these stuff. When it comes to them also holding themselves to tax, then they want to also play into feminism and modernization and all of those stuff. It can't go both ways. You have to choose your battle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I now see where you're coming.
Traditionally, you and I know that these traditional families cannot go in relation with feminism and those that.
I don't know that, but yeah. Are you done, Etienne?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I now see where you're going, right? Because now you mentioned the word authority, and this is where we come again to the part that it's about these insecurities. What makes you feel powerful, right? What makes you feel authoritative, and what makes you feel like that has been taken and robbed from you, right? Like, that's the question you have to ask yourself. And it will always boil down to self, Etienne. Believe it or not. It will always boil down to self. That's why I tell you that a lot of these conversations are very stupid. Focus on self, and building. Your mouth is smelling. Black Lion, shut up. So anyways, Etienne, as I was saying, right? It's always Etienne, I'm so sorry. I'm not having a conversation with a man who has constantly from the get-go been misogynistic. From the get-go, right? But I'm having a conversation with you,
How can we have
Etienne.
a true conversation? How can we have a true conversation whenever if the men are viewing?
Etienne, you just spoke, right? And I'm responding to you, right? And you did not. No, wait.
How can we truly have a conversation?
Etienne, I'm speaking to you because you finished speaking and you wanted me to respond, right? And then what did Black Love do? Interject, right? So are you addressing him? Black Lion, Etienne wants to tell you something about interrupting me. Go ahead, Etienne, tell him.
I said, let's all have our chance at this conversation.
Are you listening, Black Lion?
Yeah.
Etienne is telling you that we should both have our chance at this conversation. And you said, shut up. Etienne, what do you have to tell him?
Shut up and let him finish.
Etienne, what do you have to tell him?
I think both of you are being disrespectful to the platform and towards each other.
All right, good. So let's focus then on our conversation, right? Like, I'm having a conversation with you and Black Lion keeps interrupting. So focus on my conversation with you because he's not going to stop. That's what babies do. All right. So what I'm telling you, Etienne, is this, right? You speak about authority and all I'm going to say is what makes you feel powerful, right? Because when you also speak of men of other races, so to speak, right? Like, at the end of the day, men of other cultures, men of other races have the same, they're still men, right? And you have to find within yourself, you have to be secure within yourself. Nobody can take or rip your authority, especially some like if you're misogynistic and you don't even see women as, as you see women as subservient to you, right? If you see women as subservient to you, then you're not going to feel weak. Why do you feel weak? Why do you feel like your authority can be snatched from you?
Why you have a problem when women of other cultures know how to respect and obey the man when they're the
women do not obey stupidity. You have to obey the thing you respect. But because you do not see women as human, because you do not see women as human beings, because you do not, you will always suffer, right? This is what will always happen.
Hold on. Let's do this because I can't be doing these 3-hour situations. Blanchard, you're the guest. Go ahead and respond, and then we're going to close out. But Blanchard, the floor is yours, guys. Please don't interrupt Blanchard.
Hurry up.
I just want to say this. There has to be some accountability, and there has to be a situation where we've already established that culturally, we don't have a culture here that fosters family. We don't have a culture here that fosters respect between the gender. We just don't. So feminism is not a conducive way to start a family. It's just not. It's destructive. And I think the last caller, she didn't want to let anybody talk. So it was kind of an example of why feminism is so dangerous, because it puts the woman in the position of authority automatically, to where it's the woman's way and the man has to acquiesce to what the woman wants to do. At the same time, all Black Lion was saying was that women of other cultures have realistic expectations because what they want is more realistic. They want a good man. a man that's going to work, a man that's going to provide for the family, a man that's going to be a father, man. Women over here want traditional men, but that act like Chris Brown in the future. You know, I just, that's what I see. I don't see women over here, you know, fostering the traditional man because they are traditional women. These women over here have bought into feminism, and we can't deny it. The media supports it. All the shows support it. The music supports it. Every colleges support it. Everywhere these women turn, feminism is being championed. The problem is feminism doesn't teach a woman how to be submissive, and the woman's gonna have to submit to the man, and the man submit to the woman, but there has to be some level of submission. And I don't know. Her being on this live is a clear indication of what feminism is. And she wouldn't let you finish Black Lion. She cut the other guy off. She, you know, it's just she never just was quiet and said, "Okay, what are you trying to tell me? Give it to me like a kindergartner." It was just you say one thing, she at you. I don't know. So
and use the same masculinization tactics. Don't worry. Sadly, I'm used to it. That's just reality right now.
Hey, but what we're gonna do, we'll close out. He is Blanchard. How can people reach out to you? How can they contact you? How can they follow you? Where you at? You know, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. He is Blanchard. YouTube. He is Blanchard. My podcast is The Dirty Soapbox. That's on all streaming platforms. That's about it. I got a website, hhmforever.com, where I sell my merchandise. That's about it.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much for joining.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks, y'all.
Hey, no problem. Everyone, thank you. Thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, that is my search for Huru. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be safe, y'all.
Peace.